and making toast.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we're getting started here. Sorry about that. I'm one step behind Bree here. Sorry. There we go. All righty. There we go. Okay, there we are. Hi, everybody. Good day, good love, and good light. Illuminators and way showers, thank you. It is in divine grace, divine honor, and gratitude that we come to you once again in this expression of the myriad of the infinite lights of language, the languages of lights, the universal symphony of source that speaks through absolutely everything. So I wanted to thank all of you for joining us today. I'm here today with my boyfriend, Dave, and Bree. Thanks, Bree, for joining us once again. Thank you guys for being here with us and waiting for us. We've been away for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to just say that really briefly. Thanks to all of you for your wonderful, kind messages, your inquiries as to why we've been absent since the last time Bree and I did a hangout. There's a lot of reasons why we experience some of the things that we do, and she and I both separately, collectively, both weeks were under the weather. I sore throats, not feeling well. We went through the gamut. I had like the flu kind of a thing. So really, I felt no matter what, though, all of this is about transformation and transition, and how we sometimes manifest specific things because we need specific things and we need to listen to our bodies. And oftentimes we overdo, and especially now, this is a perfect time to even talk about that just a little bit, about the holiday and what happens to us at the holidays. And I think that my own experience personally over decades, as much as it's a wonderful time, it can also be a time when our bodies are taken to the limit, physically, mentally, emotionally. The holidays bring up all kinds of stuff, but we're also busy and we're doing all kinds of things and have all kinds of very high expectations of ourselves. And we often don't take the time. And also there was a lot of going on. I mean, as all of you know, there have been major transitions in my life. And so all of these things affect us in different ways. And Bree, along with me and Dave and all of us, have been going through some really major transitions and changes. And so one of the things that light languages help us do when we apply these things, and when I say light languages, everything can be expressed in different ways. The languages of light come through, and it's a multi-sensory, multi-dimensional experience. We experience it through sunlight, moonlight, nature, the earth. We experience it through many of us who are signing them, singing, toting, writing, scribing, channeling. It's also sense. And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about today, especially with the holidays coming. And one of the things that helps us, even when we're not feeling well, is smelling things. And I was even thinking about how, like when we've got I've had a sore throat, Bree's got a sore throat, she's drinking tea, we're drinking tea. Tea is an herb. It's a plant. It's a plant from Gaia. It's something that soothes us. And I have to laugh because of how many different varieties of tea we have. Lots, probably at least 20 or 30 at a minimum. So each one has different, it's like, okay, what do we want today? What kind, what flavor? What do we want to smell? What is it like outside? How does that relate to what I want? We all, as we go through these transitions, depending on where you are in the world. Now we're in the winter season here in the Northern Hemisphere, and then it's the summer season in the Southern Hemisphere. So each of us are going through different sensory perceptions. And I think it's funny how even the holiday season, when it's warm, is different for me, even to the experience of when I've experienced it when it was cold. And so in my experience, all my life, the holiday was always related to the cold, which related to certain foods, which related to certain smells. And one of the things that I love, Dave loves, many of us, I know Bree does too, what incense and things that the smell, like even think about holidays, the smells in the kitchen, cooking, the things that we only smell during certain times, and then how those smells can trigger memories, that they can invoke something so very powerful that we have a connection that is so instantaneous. How many of us have walked by a bakery or smelled something or coffee or a food or something that only grandma bakes at one time a year, or that people make to drink one time a year? And so it is a multisensory experience, and light travels and through information, through everything, and that includes smells. And one of the things that we have been embroiled with is incense. We have probably more varieties of incense than we do tea. Seriously, I've never seen anybody with so much incense, and I've always used it. And so we started thinking about the applications of incense and how, especially with the holidays coming, how we often love to bring that into our homes. Cinnamon, cloves, spices. I associate the holidays with those smells. I think many of us do, right? So now we want to take it to that next step, in that, how does all this relate also to sacred spaces, creating sacred spaces, and what happens when you burn incense in your space? What happens to your senses? We can become literally intoxicated, and it takes our senses to this new place. Candles, scented candles. Right now, I've got a candle burning. I have sage from cousin Crystal, if she's watching or does get to watch. I have Palo Santo, which I haven't lit yet. One of my current favorite incense right now is the frankincense and myrrh. I love this. Another one, thanks to Dave. I love flowers, always grew flowers. One of my favorite ones that he introduced me to was 1,000 flowers. I burn one of these every day, at least once a day, because I love them so much. And it's the first one in the morning. Most of the times the sun hasn't even risen yet. We're out there burning incense and drinking coffee and watching the sunrise and creating a sacred space. It's really, I think, very important for those of us to take these moments to be present. And as we were experiencing this, and I will take a moment to let Bree to know how to join the room and everything, but I really wanted to start off right away because I wanted to have Dave read something that he found as he was doing research on incense and pardon my voice. And so it was all about the idea of the sacredness of it. And it was funny because he had even these arrived one day in the mail, and it just happened that they're frankincense, myrrh, and sage. And I love these. These are little teeny tiny little incense sticks. And I absolutely love these. And they're little teeny things. I don't know if you guys can even see it. So but the scent that these little guys put out is magical. I've never actually smelled anything like these. And these are cool. It even comes, I need to show you guys, it even comes with this little teeny tiny tile that you stick in there, and you just set it in there and let it burn. So all of these things are also clearing, cleansing. And one of the things I wanted to say really quick is that I was guided on the solstice coming up on 12/21/2019 for another 333 day, you guys. 333, the Trinity, the trilogy, the body, mind, and spirit, the understanding of this is the last Expressions in Light Language Hangout webinar for 2019, number 3 year. So all of this that we have covered all for the last 6 months, and thank you, Bree, for joining me on this journey for the last 6 months and sticking to this. And really, you guys, those 2 times that she and I were sick were the only times that we, I think, have canceled that I'm aware of, unless we were traveling, right? And even when we were traveling, we really made a point, you guys, to make sure we did it before and after we left, and arriving. So we rock. So thank you, Bree, for sticking it out with me and really, really committing to this from our first one in June, on the 5th of June, 6 months later, here we are. I'm tingly, seriously, with all of this, and the fact that I'm here now, being able to do this here, and Bree has been here in this space with me. For those of you who didn't know, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, my area now, and Bree helped bring me here and was kind enough to be here and join our journey. And so I love that you can identify with the space and to be aware of our energy with all of this. So I wanted to start by having, do you have enough light in here? It's getting a little dark outside. So I wanted to start by having him read this, because it was something about also with the holidays and temple and churches, and how we have always for centuries and centuries used incense in worship. Let's just call it sacred space, above and beyond that idea. But it invokes the idea of a sacred space and cleansing. And on 12/21 for the solstice, we are going to do a cleansing here in the house using the sage and intention, and every single corner, every cabinet, every single door. You're supposed to open everything. I mean, every kitchen cabinet, everything. We're supposed to open all the windows if you can, at least for a few minutes. If possible, every possible window and door, even just for a few minutes, and literally intend to clear out the space and invite the new for the new year, especially with 2020, this year of clear vision. So while, Bree, really quick, if you wouldn't mind, let everybody know how they can join the room. If you guys want to come in, go ahead, and I'm gonna, as soon as you're done telling everybody that, how to do that and where to find the link, if you guys want to join us. Thanks for being here, all of you. If you'd like to join us on YouTube, and then I'm going to have Dave read this, and we'll get started hopping in the room. So thank you, Bree.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Today in the room with us, we do have Sarah, who just joined. So hi, Sarah. And if you would like to, oh, I'm sorry. You want to say hello?
Just say hello.
Hi. How's it going?
Good.
Good. I'm glad. Gosh, you people out in Florida with your warm weather, I'm doing my best over here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Anyway, if you guys would like to join the room with us today, I'm going to post right now the link to Wendy's blog on the YouTube live chat, and you can find the participation link to join the Zoom room in Wendy's blog. So go ahead and follow that if you'd like to join with video and audio. That's awesome. If you don't want to turn that on, but you still want to just come in the room and chat with us, that's okay too. That sounds good. So please welcome. If you don't even know what light language is, that's all right. This is just a space for us to talk about all sorts of stuff, including sharing light language and talking about what it does for us. So, all right. Back to you, Wendy.
Okay, thank you, Bree. Thank you so much. And I wanted to start by thanking all of you, teachers of teachers, guides of guides, for all of you, our illuminators and way showers, and all of this that we share with you, just knowing it and being present. And when you walk out into the world, you share this knowledge. And I wanted to thank all of you for being here this year as teachers of teachers and committing yourselves. And I am very delighted and honored and grateful that I have the opportunity to be with someone who is such a wonderful teacher to so many, not just to me, but so many, that all the lives that he touches. And what a great teacher he has been for me. And I think we're really good at teaching each other. So thank you. And he really took it upon himself to look this stuff up. And that's one of the things I love, is that he just takes the initiative to teach and learn. And so here you go. Thank you.
So Wendy and I have been sort of guided to see what type of things are related to Judaism and Jewish and Hebrew blessings. And I'm Jewish, and I know a little bit about that. And we were sort of surprised, and I was surprised about the extent of how incenses were used and talked about in the Jewish
We really
Bible.
Didn't know really until what, like yesterday when you read it? I mean, not to the degree.
And so I have a couple excerpts from some different websites and information that was specifically about Jewish things. And it's extremely interesting. So if anyone's interested, they could just go online and look up whatever they want, because there's
a lot.
But let me read what I copy pasted and put together. So you shall make an altar for bringing incense up in smoke, and you shall make it out of acacia wood. That's in Exodus. That's like in the Bible, talking about incense, how to do it. Altar in Hebrew is mizbeach, whose numerical value is 57, equal to the word el havayeh, meaning God, showing how all the korbanos, which is Hebrew for sacrifices, offered on the altar with proper intentions and are pipelines to kariev, come closer to God, which is what kariev means. Incense, keteret, suggests connecting. Qatar is the aromatic translation of the Hebrew word kesher, or knot, or connection. Here we're not speaking of two separate entities which have become close, but rather two entities that have become one. Thus, the offering of the incense in the holy temple was a process by which man and God, who have already become close through the offering of sacrifices, were then joined together in total oneness. In order to stress the point, the command to build the incense altar was recorded here at the end of the Parsha Tetzaveh. That's one of the parts of the Hebrew Torah. The tabernacle had been erected, the priests inaugurated, and God's presence rested in the tabernacle. Nevertheless, God was only close to the Jewish people and not one with them in a revealed manner until the incense was offered. So already we see the importance of incense in the Jewish religion.
And then even the 57, which equals 12, which equals 3, and we've got, this 333. So very interesting, these synchronicities.
As it is written, a continual incense before God. It stands always before him more than other devotions. The section of the incense is more precious and delightful to God than all other worship and petitions. And though prayer is valuable, the section of the incense formulation is highly regarded and precious to him. Come and see the difference between other prayer and the section of incense. Prayer was composed instead of the sacrifices offered by Israel. But all those sacrifices are not as valuable as the incense. Also, the difference between them is that prayer perfects whatever needs perfection. Incense, on the other hand, does more by both perfecting and binding, brings more light than anything else. And this is the term that was used, brings more light than
anything else, you guys. Incense.
Which the light removes filth and cleanses the tabernacle, which is the temple.
So in essence, the incense invokes the light, which the light is what actually clears and purifies. So it invokes the purification.
And says, and everything is shining, perfected, and joined together. Therefore, the section of incense is recited before the prayer every day to remove filth from the world, for it perfects everything on that day. Come and see, the incense always comes first and precedes everything. For this reason, the section of the incense comes before the prayer, hymns, and praises. For nothing rises, is perfected, or connected before the filth is removed.
I mean, seriously, you guys, isn't that fascinating?
The idea
absolutely
of
fascinating.
Sage and using incense is in the Bible.
This is good, and really, it precedes the Bible. It precedes books. It precedes language. It precedes. I believe and feel. We've been doing this long before I think we've been speaking.
And the other thing, which I didn't copy paste in what I read, was there's mention of doing it first thing in the morning.
Yes, and then
at night. At dusk.
And we do that. We just by by instinct, we were already doing that. And then to read that completely was so substantiating and validating. And it took me to a whole another level of understanding about all of this and the true nature of why we are guided to do this. And how even science is saying now that you guys read even the articles on Facebook. Oh, now they've proven that sage actually cleanses the room. Well, is it the sage or is it the light? The light language being brought through, that's being invoked through the sage. It's not the sage burning itself, according to that. written word that says it's to invoke the light, and the light is what purifies.
Well, you already know, Wendy, that light is sound, is vibration.
Of course, it's all the same. And
How
so is smell, so is
the
music.
universe created with vibration itself, and vibration is light, sound, color, smell, all of it.
All of it.
Vibration.
So when we're talking about multi-dimensional experiences, and when we're talking about light language, we're literally talking about the languages of all that is embodied through all of this. And to the idea that it was like I was talking this morning of, oh, you know, what should I talk about? It's the last, you know, it's the last hangout of the year, and talking about rest and relaxation and rejuvenation. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, of course we need to talk about the incense. Of course, it makes perfect sense, because all this just happened in the last 24 hours, and how frankincense and myrrh, and I don't care what Bible story you hear, they talk about it. And then he had even found the sites where they listed the specific names of the combinations of the smells, which I found fascinating, that this group was frankincense, myrrh, and sage. And if burned in combination, highly intoxicatingly powerful. And not only that, things that we eat like cinnamon, nutmeg, I use cinnamon intentionally because it's almost like a third eye opener. Oh, it's almost psychoactive, if you will. People may not understand how powerful nutmeg can be. I mean, you can look it up. It's really powerful. You cannot eat it in large quantities. It can be fatal. So all of these things, when done properly and with intention, and I was even going to say in moderation, but all of it with intention, especially now that we've got the holidays coming, no matter where we are in the world and what we're celebrating, all celebrations, I think life celebration. And after reading this about that today, it really made me realize the powerfulness of it. But the fact that when I first started waking up, one of the very first things I read was burn a candle every morning, as early in the morning as you can, preferably before the sun rises. And at that time, use those moments to invoke the connection with your angels. And so I did it every morning purposely before I went to work, as my way of saying and opening to more information and more clarity. And understanding more of the intention of setting my intentions for the day by inviting in guidance, as opposed to thinking that I have to, you know, be alone in my decisions in a day. So it really made a difference all the way around. And I think additionally, with intention, blessings. And since I met Dave and found out how much he knows about Hebrew and reading it and blessings and writing them, and there's so many other things that were so synchronistic for me because of just the way the blessings are laid out, and how there's just a blessing for absolutely positively everything. And it was so resonating with me. And the idea of intentionally setting the dinner table, burning a candle. And I asked him, please choose a time of day whenever you want, and whatever blessing you find appropriate at whatever time, but always at mealtime, it seems we do it. Burning the candle and saying a prayer and thanking for all parts of the food, every component. And then also taking it to the next level we were talking about today, about the hands that prepared it, the people in the fields who picked the vegetables, who took care of the chickens, who took care of the cows. This stuff matters. We understand that matters, but we only, you know, we do the holiday thing. And how many of us have grown up who aren't necessarily daily practitioners, who only say walk into these places of worship once a year. And that's okay, but is it? Because we forget that when all the rest of the 364 or whatever days the celebrations last, where does all that intention go? Well, if we aren't doing it consciously every day, I think we're kind of missing the point. And us being consciously doing this, and my just asking to do that every day, and then incorporating light languages into it, candles, the blessings, incense, the food itself, the scents, the smells of it, the enjoyment of the preparation, the enjoyment of eating it, the gratitude. We already know that's why we do blessings. We're so many cultures, right? We do blessings before we eat. You know, so many cultures have already incorporated that, but yet I think we're missing the point of intention of that's the intention behind it, and how it not only changes the molecular structure of the food, of the water, how our body takes in this nourishment, but the gratitude waves that go out and then are reverberated back. Even when we're not feeling well, like Bree and I were there, you know, the tea, the chicken soup, that idea of the combination of certain foods, depending on where you are culturally, and how it makes us feel, how it nurtures us, how depending on the time of year, whether it's warm or cold, the things that we crave, the things that we want. So there's a lot to be said for all of that. So, yeah, I just.
Hey, Wendy.
Yeah, go ahead. So I wanted to say, is there any questions? I wanted to say hi.
I'm not sure about questions yet. I need to take a look here, but I'm just. Hi,
Daniel.
I'm seeing some interesting information, so don't have any verification on this yet, but priests may have used incense with DMT in it.
Interesting.
But I need, if anybody has some more information about that or can verify, I just wanted to bring that up because I had heard about that before. Same with cannabis.
Well, right. And that too, cannabis has been used in ceremony. Tobacco is used in ceremony.
Yeah, for sure.
Daniel says, I believe that the drug ETC was basically a nutmeg derivative. You got to be careful with nutmeg. I mean, it can be very fatal. I mean, if you're not careful. So, and then he says the Hebrew definition of nasa is deception, which I'm not sure what the, what's your point, Daniel? Hi, Beverly, welcome. I saw that you were in the chat. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. It's nice to see you. Hi, Jody. Hi, Angela. Hi, everybody else watching. I just wanted to say hi. And if you guys have any questions or comments or your own experiences about any of this, one of the things that we talked about too was about how much I love just, you can burn cinnamon. I love taking cinnamon and cloves and just burning them. I mean, I'm sorry, putting them in a pot of simmering water on the stove to let the home fill with it, or, we do the potpourri and all that. So, hi, Beverly. Hi. Would you like to comment? Hi. Welcome. Hi.
Yeah, I just found the button.
Yay! And if you guys have any questions on how to get in the Hangout, please let us know. You could, we really do encourage everybody to come on in. So if you're interested, please hop in. So, hi, Beverly. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Just hello.
Hi, I'm so glad you're here. So do you have any comments about, like, do you enjoy that, burning incense or candles, or do you have any kind of feeling or anything on that?
Yeah, I do. I burn sage in the house.
Yep.
Because I've got a lot of people in my house. So although my house when I bought it, there was nothing. I felt it was lovely atmosphere in my house. But so many people coming and going, I started clearing my house for the new person in.
Can you, just for the sake of the audience, maybe for people who may be a little bit new to this idea of clearing, a lot of the stuff we actually assume that people understand. Could you maybe comment, because this is something I'm doing here in this house too, because I'm new to this home. There's a lot of energies and things that I feel as a telepath, as an empath. I told Dave when I arrived that there's some things that need to be cleared, the corners, because literally it's science, you guys. energy, electricity gets stuck in the corners. It literally gets stuck, seriously stuck. Energy is a thing and it hangs in corners. And so I wanted, Beverly, if you don't mind, a lot of people don't understand when we talk about clearing, what does having a bunch of people in and out of the house have to do with anything and clearing and empaths and energy? If you wouldn't mind commenting for people who may not understand this.
Well, it is all about energy and the collections of energy. And for people that come into my house, I have so many people with their own problems. And hopefully when they leave my house, they haven't got as many, but it still has a build up. It's like a battery charging. And so I have to let it go. And so, and what's strange is the last 2 people to come into my house have both been psychic, which is really weird. That's right. Why now?
Not necessarily, because obviously your energy would draw people like yourself.
Well, maybe, but I mean, these
for
are
sure,
from,
for sure.
You know, from all over the world. You know, they're not just English people.
So I take it then you're. I don't want to assume people just because of their accents where they live. So do you mind telling us where you're coming to us from?
Me from England.
Oh, okay. So you're in England. I'm in the United States. I'm in Florida, and Bree's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She's got a little bit of a scratchy throat, guys. So she's just kind of taking her voice. We're talking about all this. My throat is very scratchy. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of throat chakra energy. I've been noticing, and this is a little bit off subject, but not really because we're talking about energy, but you know, this is a thing that we can talk about again with the holidays that you mentioned, Beverly, about a lot of us are going to have guests in our home. A lot of us are going to have people. A lot of us are going to have family and family situations that we may or may not be happy about. And we may have people in our homes that we're not happy about that we only see once a year. And we go, okay, you know, don't mind their energy or let's have harmony, but let this be something that we can work with after everybody leaves our premises. Let's everybody do cleansing. And maybe this is one of the things we talk about New Year's resolutions, which I'm not a person who believes that January 1st is the first day of the year that I've never really believed.
No.
The point is, maybe it's okay though to use that date 1/1, which equals 11. And of course, we're coming into this year of 2020, which is 11/11/2020, clear vision. So how about if we use that day or that idea, it doesn't have to be on the day, but that idea that once all of our commitments are finished, that we do a cleansing of energies, of maybe some of that stuff that lingers behind when we have these parties that, sure, we clean up the floors and we clean the dishes and we put all the silverware and the beautiful things away, but we forget about the energy that everybody else brought in that may be wonderful, may not be so wonderful. So it's a perfect thing to talk about people and energies. And hey, Quasi, nice to have you. Good to see you again. So, you know, I think this is really important. And you know, again, we bring the outside in, we bring, depending on the time of year. So sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Think about how we run around, for those of us who were or can be caught up in that, the shopping and the stores and the people and the lines and the restaurants and the, oh my God, and all these commitments. What kind of energy do you think you're bringing in the house when you're out there shopping and doing all of that crap with all of these people who are just in a state of constant panic? And then everybody's going to spend the day after these holidays going to go back and take back all the crap that everybody spent all that stress buying that they don't like, doesn't fit, or want to shop till they drop on the day after. Why? It's, you know what? It's everyone's experience. It's not my highest joy and excitement. So, you know, but the thing is, and that's why, you guys, because of the energy. So I don't like that idea, that feeling, but nonetheless, I think it's a perfect, you know, segue to talk about all this stuff. And I'm really excited to share some other things with you guys too. So I think for the moment, I wanted to say hi to Quasi, and hey, Dolores. So glad to see you, darling. So good to see you. It's been a while. Excuse me. Thank you so much for your kind messages. And Dolores she's been worried about us because we took a couple of weeks off there. And so she's been worried about what's been going on, but we're okay. We've just been really just going through just some physical stuff, you know, and some energetic clearing and cleansing. And, you know, it's been new for those of you who are, you know, aware of our situation. I've done a really about face with my life, and it's been an extraordinary experience, and not without its challenges, but yet every day has been an exercise of what is our highest joy? How do we want to manifest? What is the sacred space that we want to create every day? How do we want to live every day? How do we want to be intentional about how do we live every day? And how I love doing all of this and adding light languages and doing the blessings and adding light language blessings to all of this, everything that we've talked about today, and adding that element of light languages. And there's so many things, you guys, that I can't wait to talk to you about in the coming days and weeks, whatever, about the experiences that I'm having sharing light languages in the physical with someone else. It is a very different experience and it's a different experience to share these sorts of things that are so, when you take it to the next level, when you take this stuff to the next intentional level, it is such, you know, even just sitting and being in a space with someone in quiet, to be sitting in a space with another person, to just be quiet and enjoying the smell, the sounds, the looking into each other's eyes, not needing to speak, or just standing there and holding a person and not needing there to be any words, and just simply conveying energy and love and intimacy in a way that we as a human collective consciousness are so afraid to do. And as we engage in these kinds of intentional practices, we break down those barriers that prevent us from being able to share these intimate moments with each other. And I cannot tell you how many things I have done for the first time in 3 weeks, whatever. Yeah, 4 weeks. So there is never a day that goes by that when we set our intentions, that something new comes into our awareness. Oh, let's try that. Let's do that. Oh, what about this? What about that? So Zinnia, hey, I wanted to say hi. I see more people hanging out there. Oh, how do I say it? Hello, is Shigo? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Thank you, welcome. Hey, Zinnia, hey, are you busy, Zinnia? Please, you guys hop in. If you guys, there's a link there for my website on my blog. You guys can hop in the Zoom room. If you want to join us, please join us. You don't have to put your camera on or your audio, but if you want to just be with us and say hi, or just turn your audio, that'd be great. I just wanted to let you all know, for the new people, how Melissa, hey. I really hope that all of you guys, all of you who are always tuning in, I hope that maybe we can incorporate some new people with a little bit later start, and hoping to do some more light language stuff on different days and times so that we can do, incorporate more people. So I wanted to thank all of you guys for being here. So yeah, hop in. And I think if what I'd like to do is maybe do some light languages, since we're kind of hanging out. And I wanted to share with you guys a couple of things really quick while we're talking. So today's date is 12/18/2019. And so we've got 393, if you got the 12 and the 18 and the 3. And so there's this beautiful energy today of that whole 369 energy, because today's date also equals 6. And so we've got that. Thank you. Oh, okay. See, steaming hot. I know I better not drink it. I'll burn my tongue. But just the smell of it, and the cinnamons and the spices, and it's really a multi-sensory. And So as we were talking about earlier about how we have mathematical representations and even talking about incense and all that, and how even when I'm writing numbers and symbols and scripts and things, and even today I was guided this morning to start writing something, and then I actually gave it to someone who doesn't speak light languages, doesn't understand any of this. And as she's watching me write it, which I seldom do in front of people or give it away, she's like watching in fascination. And I said, I really don't know what I'm writing. And I was explaining how Dave writes in Hebrew and reads in Hebrew and can speak it. And she's like, oh, that's a different language. And I'm like, yes, it is. Because her primary language is Spanish and her second language is she's learning English, thanks to Dave and AJ. And so, but she's going to school and you know, is nursing. So the point is that she's looking at this, and as I'm writing it, I'm explaining how he writes this, but I write these symbols, but I don't really not necessarily understand what they mean. But I didn't get into anything like activations or anything like that. I was just writing it out, and I put the date on there and realized that today was 393 and it equals 6. And so that there's that 3969 energy, which then I always equate to Metatron, the Merkaba, the Star of David, that idea of the two triangles, one inverted, and what that means to us, and how that's even the symbol for the Star of David and Hebrew. And so all of this is all so related, but it's all been a part of my awareness for all my life. But I'm just now starting to put a lot of the puzzle pieces together. So I was guided then to finish the page, and I tore it off and I just handed it to her. Now, does she or me or any of us understand what they say? No. But the idea for me of even showing that to her was because I wanted to show her what I'm going to show you guys in a minute. And so one of the things that I love doing is sharing numerically how numbers and values and light languages are all, and smells and scents and all of this are all related and connected, because everything in creation, as I believe we all understand, can be converted to a numeric equivalent, whether it's a place, a vibration, time travel, space travel is really just becoming the vibration of that particular coordinate, if you will. And you don't go there, you become it. You don't go from here to there, you become it. And so we're learning this from a physics standpoint. And so as I'm writing, and I didn't really finish these, and it's a little dark in here, I just started it. But so I just wrote the date and I just started, and I'll probably fill it in as I go along, and then I'll share it on my blog, whatever I finish and wherever. But so these are some of the things that I do too in writing these scripts and symbols and hand signs. So all of these things are related. And one of the things that I started writing in, it's finally started to tear, my journal that I've been writing in for many years. And I started this journal writing these symbols from Sirius that I've shared with you guys many times on this YouTube channel, in many of my videos and hangouts. And they were the original 15 symbols that were brought to our attention through Daryl Anka channeling the entity Bashar, the Sasani from the place, from Sasani, the planet, which translates to the place of living light. And he explained how these symbols, if we use them and look at them and write them and rewrite them and use them intentionally, that they can help us connect to other parts of ourselves, and we would be guided how to use them. And I was guided to use them to share with all of you all of these years. And today, and this is in pencil, so I don't have my big ones with me and I didn't rewrite it, but number 6 is extend. And so today's date equals 6. So I was guided to grab my book and show that symbol to you, and I'll show it to you guys again, and I can take a picture of it, but you guys can Google these. These are on the internet, and I've got videos about these. There's videos you all can watch about these to use them. And I guess I'm being guided to bring them to your attention for specific reasons, because this is part of scripts, scribes, light code activations. I was also told that these are light codex arrays that are being used to activate us, to illuminate belief systems, issues that we may have where we have blocks and barriers, to finding our full potential. And by using these symbols, and today we're talking about extend, when we extend ourselves by way of using all of these tools intentionally, we extend our reach out into places and the pool of information and stuff that we can reach in ways that we have never been able to reach before. And so by literally using these things more intentionally, we really do unblock and uncover stuff within ourselves. And I know Dolores is a perfect example. I had her on my show on Awake TV, showing her symbols, her artwork, talking about how these light codes, this information is embedded into her images, her artwork, my artwork, these light codes, and how combining these symbols with color and sound when she's drawing them and painting them, and when I'm writing them, or say you're burning incense while you're doing it. And all of these things matter. Everything makes a difference. I am surrounded by crystals. All of this stuff matters when we create something, because you're creating a very specific sacred space, which creates a particular vibration. So, all of this makes a difference in our daily lives and how we operate, how we correspond with our multiverse, and how we actually then bring the information that we receive and ground it into the earth, how we bring it and make a difference in our day-to-day. And so what do you got there, Dolores? Tell us that is a big, beautiful crystal ball. What is that? Do you know what it's made of? There's crystal balls all around. Crystal balls all over the place.
Smoky quartz. Hello.
Smoky quartz. I love that. That is beautiful. Wow.
Isn't it?
So what do you intentionally use smoky quartz for, and maybe just talk about how does it feel? What do you use it for? What's your intention and connection to it?
Recently, not very long ago, I was connected with, I could say, spirit of this particular piece of quartz, and her name is Ula, and she is my guidance for harmonize some parts of my physical body with my mind and my soul, and she's helping me a lot.
I love that you express that she's given you a name, that she is a guide.
Yes, I asked her, and she told me.
So thank you for saying that you asked, because people want to know, well, how does that happen? And how do you know what her name is? Well, because we ask.
Yes.
Or sometimes we just hear it, but we need to ask. We need to ask.
Yes,
and we can connect. And I happen to know and I know he is as well, I am a stone speaker. So are you. I've always known from the moment I met you. So is Bree. Probably everybody in this room so we all have the ability to speak and receive information through stones and crystals. They are a part of the earth, and some of them are, as we know, not from the earth either. Or they're a combination of both, aren't they? They're part of from the earth and not from the earth.
Yes.
And then what happens? So very powerful stuff. Why do we use crystals? Well, because they amplify, magnify, their antenna, they hold information. Now and that's a whole nother subject, but I think we all understand the crystal skulls, right? Really excited about the crystal skulls. We have crystal skulls all around here. I've watched and encourage anybody who's interested to purchase the 13 Crystal Skulls Bashar event recording, because it's amazing.
Wendy.
Yeah, go ahead. Go on. What, Bree? She's laughing. What?
I'm laughing at the synchronicity of Nikki just joining the room. Hi, and Nikki. I believe it is
hi, Nikki.
The Nikki that we did the crystal skull
thing with.
That was a hangout on Will's channel, right? Reiki with Will. That's where we did that, right?
Is that where we did that? I can't
Yeah.
remember if it was ours.
I'm 99% sure it was on his channel.
Oh, is that funny?
Yeah.
Oh,
So welcome,
yes.
Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. How are you? If you can talk.
She might just be hanging out.
That's okay. And that's okay.
If you would like to say hi, please feel free to.
Yeah, feels free. And yeah, just raise your hand. And
Oh, there she is.
Just a little under the weather today, so.
See,
me too.
So we're all, not all,
clearing lots of
clearing.
things.
Yes, clearing.
And this is the time for us to be clearing, because we're in the middle of like this massive energy gateway right now. So,
Yes.
what have you all been experiencing? Sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth. What have you all been experiencing with that? I mean, does anybody have any interesting stories or things to share? I've heard of all sorts of stuff going on with people.
I feel like I have something to say, but it's to Dolores and it's in light language. So.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
Okay. Hi, Dolores.
Hi, Nikki. Hi.
Speed that up. Esto si savone me la ano ni me la yo na enu mi la ene ni mo el ala una me ala.
Nahui karuana linataka. Enu hamama watiata arena lakata. Ehwama tara alahaya kitare ena shakyata. Iyawa hane kitare anna hatale. Lihlakieo at harnaya kataha. Iwana hayo kietara ha. Iwana hayo kietara mahuana waka toro no ho. Yahyakatare helanaka. Yahyakatare wana he. Eya hatara. Eya hamwane. Eya kialahayatara na ho ma.
E hati inda ki ashana I hani ki asamashate I vashana te vihashana jiva uzamani jami atari senetere kona vihashana te. Eniki si itiana I amante I ki vashana sete jina vashana niki and davi anomali ki shavashana te. Iza vashana jami ataniana ne yatora ankara pashe. Ti mikiasana se ti intavia noniakoli ambokora meshi te vienna te. Sevashanate. So again, I'm hearing another triangle. Ivashanate, Vashanate, Antadiasanate. And it is no surprise, of course, that the three of us have worked together. As have you both. And you know, one of the reasons why we're gathered here today too is because we're all clearing and cleansing together. And this is a really good way to do this when we're in a safe and sacred place where we can be ourselves. And so I think we're all here today for the same intention, really.
I hear something about Kelu Iname and Voni Anamisino Mashave, Vostisino Mashoshune Veni Aname, which goes with that expansion code that you were showing. Like Leuasiso Vanemale has to expand more. And as we all expand ourselves and stretch ourselves, allows for those new connections to be made. As we're creating new connections in consciousness. And then I'm hearing something about Kasuna and Namilo Ananamo Ikino ala Amasa.
What is happening is that our light language expression is accelerate very much in these days. Echol arenat talarna yati ora mama mahuahatin tekeya talarnaya katharoanate. Much more than it was before. Hit hatati kiara ata anda kubaramana nana keta ialele ketara anohawa. Emino emawane etahaya kataranaha.
You want to speak, Nikki?
Hold on, I'm listening.
Okay.
We usually not tutila unamela you could say because we're something like we're no longer using some of the old connections or old portals. The expansion and extension allows is like to encourage people to connect with the higher grid systems, and or to connect through old fields, to use different new pathways through old fields, which doesn't have all the clutter, and it doesn't need to do all that, like, because like some of us have been, you know, virtually killing ourselves doing all this clearing and clearing and clearing and clearing. So if you actually, it is clearing a new path, but so to consider possibly now some of the clearing is clearing a new path, which isn't the trodden, old, worn out mess of where all the history happened, and we're creating these new pathways in consciousness which will be clearer and cleaner, and allow for like clear connection that you were talking about in the beginning. So yeah,
absolutely, Nikki, that's what Dave had talking. We've been talking about that since we met. Creating new, creating a new template, creating a new blueprint, creating a new way of doing everything, absolutely everything. And it's all of us are doing this, and the light languages are really paving this new path. Just as you said, we're not paving a path through the old crap. We're not pushing aside like a snowplow through all the garbage anymore. We're literally laying the stepping stones for the new path. It's not about going through the old crap anymore. Is exactly right. I'm getting the same thing. Clear vision, clear vision.
Yes, we are letting go of the old stuff. Yes. And expanding our consciousness.
We really are. We're extending our consciousness out to truly embodying all the parts of us and accepting and allowing and embodying them instead of resisting them, and then just asking, okay, what do I do with this information, this stuff to help this now, my new path, this new journey of mine, instead of spending so much time, Ivy, hey girl, so good to see you. Instead of spending so much time about the things that we've got to change and it's not about that. It's about allowing the new to happen and allowing the flow and the ease. And that's been the words of the last few months, you know, ease and grace and allow and flow. And it really has been. Hi, Ivy. How are you? Good to see you.
Hey.
Oh, you're muted, darling. If you want to say hi, you can say hi. You can unmute if you want.
Hey, I came in right when you were talking about
perfect.
Yeah, we don't need to be dealing with the old crap anymore. We're paving the new way. Yeah, that's just, I don't know what you said for the past hour, but that was great. How's Florida?
I'll tell you, it's nice in Florida. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the warm weather. It's been a nice transition for me.
Well, some of that too, like how you're talking about being in a different setting now, you know, and different traditions, and if we're in a different climate or whatever. But it's kind of like there's something about repurposing the old as well, so that you're transforming. So taking maybe what you had around or how you used to use something and using it in a new way going forward. So
I'm laughing, Nikki, because I've been using that word and he's laughing at me because I've used that word so much in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to repurpose this. I want to repurpose this. I keep finding all these things that I want to repurpose. So I'm using all these things in new ways. And so he's laughing even yesterday. You're going to repurpose that.
Well, it's true though. And whatever you're talking to me while you were talking, you're also talking to me energetically, and I'm listening to what you're saying energetically. And that's what's coming across on that level of that. It is totally transforming. And the word is repurposing the new, because you are using it with because how we were talking about in the beginning of using some, like your intent behind doing something and why you're doing it. So if you're doing that with a new intention, maybe even something you have done, but now you have the new intention set to it, that is repurposing the energy of that action. You know, it's just, and that changes the frequency of it.
Oh, absolutely.
I like that you said that. That's really cool. Yeah, like even the intention. So we can take this even to like us, let's say, drinking a cup of tea, right? So we can change our intention of drinking that tea, and it changes the whole outcome. Thanks, Nikki.
Well, it's what you assign meaning to, and what is the assigned meaning. And if you have it with that understanding, then, you know, it takes on a different energy.
It really does. And Nikki, you remind me of my friend Pam. She just loves, she's also another tea connoisseur. And she will, I mean, her whole tea regimen in the morning is very intentional. I mean, it's she'll say that it's like a ceremony to her. I mean, the way she prepares it and the way it's, everything about it is ceremonial, and it's just her morning tea, but it's just how, it's not ceremonial, it's intentional. It's just, you know, and that, even that idea of sitting outside and watching the sunrise and having coffee and burning incense and doing blessings, making it an intentional, this is how I choose the frequency of the beginning. Oh, see, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about hugging your animal, you know, and as we know, the animal collective has been very dear to us. And this is a perfect segue to right now what I wanted to share with you guys, because the animal collective sends us information through what I like to call light language, because when they speak to us, whether it's through their colors, other plumes, whether it's the way they sing, each one has a different vibration and resonance. Each one, if we look up animal spirit guides, each bird, each type of animal brings different kinds of information, as we understand different archetypes, and each one has their own, we understand that there's associations with different animal archetypes. All of our star systems, well, not all of them, but our star systems, many of them are named after animal archetypes, but they don't look like that from anywhere else in space or time, only to us from our perspective, from this little place on Earth. And so we have chosen to use animals as guides to carry information, to convey light, meaning data and information from our guides. And so one of the things that I was really excited about was, I didn't bring that. I was going to bring the Hebrew book, but well, yeah, just so everybody can see it, because I wanted, if you want either one, I just wanted them to see the writing. So one of the things that I was inspired by was, because I like writing light languages, and I don't have any other of my journals here. Here's one that I did, you guys, on 12/6/2019, was also a 363 day. And I was just kind of doodling. This is the only one I currently have right now that have any symbols on it at all. And I can draw some more. But the point is that I was looking at Dave's Hebrew prayer book, and it's so beautiful. And I'm afraid to hold it up. Maybe you could just hold it. All right. I don't want to mess. Anyway, I'll just hold up the inside. So as you can see, there's some Hebrew writing in here. And much of what I've written in light languages really resonates with many of us and some of the things that we've all done. And Bree and I have had many, many, many conversations and hangouts and discussions about light language, Hebrew, the beginning of language, the expression of light into written word, how Hebrew letters, the Star of David, how all of this stuff's related. And then I meet Dave. And I see these beautiful, beautiful blessings. And this one is open to morning prayer for children. So actually, maybe you could find a little blessing in the book that you could maybe read for people. That would be awesome. And while I do that, I'm going to share with you something that Dave surprised me with, because he does these wonderful things. So 2 things I wanted to share with you guys is, for my birthday, I don't think I showed this to you guys. For my birthday, the very, very, very first thing he gave me was, it's from Shaman's Dawn. And is it Sestun? Am I saying that right? Saston. It's a firefly pendant with an actual acorn from a tree, from an oak tree. And I'll show you the picture in just a second. a glowing stone of vital life energy. Bree has seen it. A glowing stone, yes, it glows, you guys. A glowing stone of vital life energy accumulates, purifies, and amplifies life energy and redistributes it into the auric field. And it's www.shamansdawn.com. And I could give you guys, I'll just show you there. You guys can go to the website, and they make a lot of amazing things. He also had purchased their crystals. They have bath crystals, purification crystals, spirit crystals. So we have those and use those in the bath. And so Shaman's Dawn, the firefly pendant with acorn. So fireflies, here's another animal archetype guide. So for any of you who are so inspired, because I'm saying this to somebody, look up Firefly Spirit Guide. There's information for you. So the Sastan stone charges best in direct sunlight, but will energize in any light source. Sastan is an ancient Mayan term for mystical tools of healing. It means stone of light. Now, mind you guys, for all of you who know how close I am to the Sasani and Bashar and Sasani, the place of living light. Sasani, apostrophe Sasani, translates to place of living light. So this means stone of light. Sastan, and this is a trademark name, stone collects vital life energy from the universe, amplify and balance it, and then radiate it outward into our aura for healing, vitalization, and purification of purification of the auric field and energy centers. One of the most amazing qualities of the Sastan stones is that they absorb light and photons. I love, Bree loved that. And photons. She just laughs every time I say it because she busted out laughing when she read it. And she said it like 5 times at least. And photons, she says, she's dying over there because she did. She said it so many times because she's like, not only light, but and photons. So, and they glow, and they do really glow, you guys, at night. It's so cool because I wear it at night. Firefly pendants are an amalgamation of green quartz, fluorite, and photoluminous rare earth elements bonded together with plant-based resin and set in a wild, harvested, literally in an acorn shell, you guys. It's not glowing in here right now, but in an acorn shell. And then it just tells you not to submerge it in water because it'll come apart. So here's the little card on the front. If you guys can see the little fireflies and the little mushrooms. And so anyway, I absolutely adore this thing. And so we're talking about light and light languages and absorbing light and photons. Stuff absorbs light language. Hi, Fletcher. Kitty, kitty, kitty. So lots of Lyran energy. So that's another thing. So what did you find?
So I found on smelling fragrant spices.
Oh, perfect. Let's read that. So this is a Hebrew blessing. So I asked him to find one. So this is on spices.
So most of the Hebrew blessings all start with the same thing and then specify what you're blessing or talking about. So, and if you've ever heard Hebrew at all, you probably would be familiar with the way this sounds. Baruch atah Adonai, which is bless out thou. Adonai is Lord our God, Eloheinu melech haolam, King of the universe. And for this blessing is Borei minei misamim, who creates diverse kinds of spices. And that's the blessing. And this particular book has blessings for all kinds of different
It's amazing.
things.
This book is amazing. I love it. We just pick one.
Yeah.
You know?
So just for an example, if you hear thunder or a storm, there's a blessing for that. I'm seeing a rainbow. There's a blessing for that. When you see the sea for the first time.
I mean, seriously, you guys, is this like the best or what? It's like what we all believe and emit. There's blessings for every single, like, that's for seeing lightning and a rainbow. Come on, you guys.
And this happens to be on page 123.
Of course, 1, 2, 3. So we just have fun even just looking, and he found this. He didn't even really remember he even had this until recently. I love this book so much.
Yeah, this is I have two here in the house. This is the second one, and I sort of forgot I had it.
And I love it so much. And so, but it was inspired. So that book, these Hebrew blessing books, inspired me and my light languages. And I said to Dave, I always wanted to, I said, oh, how beautiful. I said, oh, you know how to write this? And he said, yes. And I said, how beautiful it would look in calligraphy, you know, with a calligraphy pen. It's like, oh, let's do that. And so, because I've always wanted to write my light language symbols and scripts with calligraphy pen. So with that said, one of the things that we have been immersed with, and thanks to hi Connie, if you're watching, my sister-in-law Connie had gifted me also an owl bracelet and some owl towels, and there's a cup here that says wisdom on it, and it's in Japanese writing, and Bree used the cup, and it was just funny because we were talking about owls and wisdom. And so, of course, all I have to do is say like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a calligraphy set? And this one's already shopping. So, so I had no idea this stuff even really existed. And so he found the most beautiful, beautiful calligraphy sets. And this particular one, and I don't know if I should hold up the whole thing because I don't want it to come out, but this is, and I can't remember, is this a spotted owl and owl feather?
That's the night owl.
This is the night owl feather. You guys look at this beautiful actual calligraphy quill with the ink, and then to hold the quill and all of the nibs for the different sizes. It's pretty much, I think it's all pretty secure in there. And the ink bottle is right here. This is the first time in my life I have ever held an actual quill calligraphy pen with all of the beauty, and there's some weight to it. It's beautiful. This beautiful silver base that it sits in. I actually haven't even taken it out of the paper. So you guys get to be the first to kind of see this with us. I mean, isn't that beautiful? This, and to feel it and actually touch this owl feather, and the idea that we associate owls with wisdom and knowledge. They can see in the night. They can turn their head at great distances. Of course, they're very perceptive. And I happen to have, if you've been listening to my light language channel for a while, I do have some videos, I think, where you might have even heard the owl in the nighttime and me speaking to the owl. And we actually were having conversations recently here with me and Dave and AJ about owls and synchronicities with us hearing and seeing owls in the woods and how beautiful and large they are. So I wanted to share this with you guys because I'm overwhelmed and of its beauty and the energy behind it. And so with that said, of course, there was also another type of owl, and this one I can't remember.
That was a night owl. I think this was just an owl.
I can't remember. And so this one is, as you can see, very different. And it's more brown. And these are absolutely, the feeling of them, you guys, is just amazing. So there's a lot of, I guess I'm hearing to share with you guys the owl energy and to invite you, if you're so inspired, to look up the information the Owl Collective Spirit has for us, for you specifically. And this too also has, I want to show you guys this because this is really beautiful. And this one's different, you know, but it also has the sets of all the nibs with it. And I'll let you hold that for a second, please. Thank you. And then this one actually has a different bottle of ink with it. And this one actually has, and this, it almost looks like it has symbols. I'm going to show you guys, but this is the candlestick gold to make the seal. So if you were to write a letter and put it in an envelope and turn the envelope around, you would light this, of course, and let the candle wax drip. And then you would have a metal seal with whatever, which we're going to find one and buy one, and have actually sealed the envelope. And that would be the person's, usually it's their personal private seal. And you would know that that's who the letter came from. And it kind of is, it's also associated with royalty, wisdom, and feathers are pretty nice. So, and so I've been collecting feathers for many years. For those of you who've been watching my channel for a little while, thank you so much. And you'll see in most of my videos behind me, you'll see a collection of feathers. It is many, many meanings for me. It's not just the Native American, it's and it's also the Avian Collective, which was one of the very first collectives I ever came in contact with. When I started speaking light languages, many, well, coming up, you guys, my anniversary is coming up in January 15th, 16th. Of my very first light language video. And I probably got, I don't know, I really lost count. I don't know, 11 or 1200 or something since that time. And feathers and birds and the Avian Collective have been a huge part of my awareness. And of course, we also associate, you know, the owl wisdom with information. And of course, we associate feathers with angels. And so in my course of my journeys, I have found many, many angels, have done events about angels, have done events about feathers, the symbol white feather, about being the symbol for all of us, for magic, white magic, for purity, the swan, the idea of pure love. And with that said, you know, that whole idea of love letters. And I actually have written many, many light language pages of symbols where many times, and I did it again this morning, which I forgot, which I wrote on there this morning, angel messages. And I feel that way, that these are like love letters from our angels, love letters from our guides. And like, this is my way of giving us some sort of like a physical representation of, we're always receiving love letters.
Wendy. So Fletcher's like, I'm not having this anymore. And to move him. Sorry, I just wanted to say that in like the list of the recommended videos on YouTube, as I'm on the YouTube watch page, the first one in the up next is your love letters in light language video. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. So please go on.
You can't make this crap up, you guys.
Oh, and Angela said that just this week she saw an owl.
Okay.
And Jody said, Wendy, you truly are an angel, which is true.
That's so awesome. You guys are awesome. So see, but these are messages for all you guys. And something as simple and beautiful as this, I'm telling you, and I was showing the gal today that I had given the light language symbols to, these beautiful things. And even the box, you guys, it's got like maps on the outside, and this is all purchased through Amazon. So I'm not even going to bother with the links. Look it up yourself if you want to find it. You do your own explorations, but you know, the words out there that, you know, and I guess I could give the company credit, but I'll look for that. This is called the Writing Collection, and I don't know really who it's from. So, but y'all can look it up. And
well, when you have the picture of the map, and the owl goes to the expansion of viewpoint, with the owl that can see 360 degrees. So as we expand our perspectives,
and that's a good point. That's a good point, Nikki, about talking about that.
Is open up your viewpoint. As we take in the bigger picture.
And when we see things from the bigger picture, we see things from our multidimensional self, and you have no idea what a perfect segue this is, Nikki. And that when we see ourselves from that multidimensional standpoint, we really can discover all of our true beauty, all of our true colors, all of the parts that are ready to show and shine. And it really is such a beautiful segue into, actually, the owl feathers were kind of the other amazing part of the story, that we weren't even really looking for owl feathers to begin with. It started with, I have always wanted to have a quill pen that was a peacock feather. Yeah, Bree. Yep, it's a peacock feather.
I have peacock feathers in my room.
I have no I have never in my life seen a peacock feather. And if you guys, the light, the shimmering is unbelievable. Look at the colors. You should have seen. So I was showing this to her today, and she wore this color blue in the peacock feather. That's what she wore. Her whole her nursing outfit was that color today. Her scrubs, that blue. She gasps. She did the same thing I did when I opened the box. I went. Dave was outside. He's like, "What?" You were come running in the house. I'm like, "Yeah." Look, and not only that, you guys, it came. I'm so afraid to touch them. Really, it came with two. There's two. There's two. I thought it was only going to be one. There's two. So this was what prompted the whole thing was the peacock feathers. And then he's like, oh, guess what? They also have owl feathers one. Oh, and two kinds of owls. So for this particular company, again, look how beautiful. Same thing. So now the whole point was I was excited because I said, wouldn't it be nice if you could be writing them in writing Hebrew, I could be light languages. And then of course he's like, well, then you have to have the peacock is yours. And so anyway, now we have all three, but so.
I said that, or did you say that?
You said that. You said that. So I was really excited to share this with you guys because, well, one, because I'm overwhelmed just by the beauty and the grace and just the whole gift of it all. And that I wanted to, because this is what it's, when we talk about being present, changing our reality, light languages, applying the stuff in our real life, applying intention. This is the stuff we're talking about. Taking the ability with what you have and what you can do, what you can afford, what you can make happen, and utilize that. I've always been picking up rocks and feathers and seashells and stuff off the ground and golf balls. If you guys have been watching my videos for a while, I have tons of golf balls that I used to find during my videos. And so all of these things are part of my journey. We don't have to purchase things, but it's about being present and allowing things into our lives. And sometimes it is about taking the time to do something really crazy and exceptionally wonderful for yourself, passionate, romantic, intuitive, instinctive, intimate. Be intimate with yourself and get yourself something. We're so worried about the holidays and buying everybody else what they need. Maybe our holidays needs to be start with buy yourself the most beautiful gift you could possibly give yourself with what you are able to within your means. Something that makes you just feel amazing and beautiful, or just, if you want to call this frivolous or whatever you call it, because frivolity really, hi Peg, frivolity is really about, we call frivolous, we think frivolous things are gosh, they're like meaningless, or that it's something we shouldn't do for ourselves. But really the small things are the big things, everyone. The small things are the big things. And so I just wanted to share that with you because, one, I was really excited and it's so beautiful. And to inspire all of you to really go out there and be your true colors, do what makes you passionate, get yourself a box of incense, maybe for the holidays, maybe instead of giving people the things that they expect, maybe we should be giving things that represent who we are, to express more of who we are, while also maybe giving ourselves these gifts. But maybe give something somebody wouldn't necessarily expect. And maybe you might open a door for somebody. Maybe you get them a crystal, maybe get them a calligraphy set, or maybe some sage or Palo Santo, or something different that they wouldn't expect, that might spark a conversation or a new way of being, or maybe showing them that, I'm thinking about a group of people that I recently met. There were some friends of AJ's that I just was so delighted to meet, and got to do a lot of interesting things for the very first time. And it was a lot of fun. And it was so interesting how just by gathering and doing these things, the very first thing that one of one of the friends said to me was, thank you, because now you make me feel not weird anymore. And the thing is I was just being me and doing this and doing card readings and talking about things in a way that relates to them, and how, you know, not just dumping everything on everybody who doesn't understand all this, but starting with just something easy. And maybe you could buy yourself a deck of oracle cards, maybe, or buy somebody else a deck of oracle cards. You never know. And even my sister-in-law, Connie, I had no idea until I told her I had bought oracle decks. She's like, oh, well, I have a bunch too. And then she showed me the very first one her mother had, that belonged to her mother. And she had never looked at them. And she asked me to do a reading with her mother's cards. I had never seen this deck before. And I'll tell you, it was a very, very complicated deck. It had a very specific way you read the cards, and you had to lay them out. And there was, I think it was either 25 or 30 cards. I forget, because it was like a bunch of, I mean, it was the biggest reading I've ever done with a deck I've never seen in my life. And the story and the way it's laid out and how you're supposed to read it, all I did was follow the guidelines. And I tell you, it was a magnificent story. I was really surprised myself, because I really had no idea if I could even formulate anything out of it. And I was shocked how much I was able to see and read and understand from the cards. And because everything in that particular deck, much like tarot, is each card was, the meaning for each card is in relationship to the card next to it, and then which ones are from distance. And I'd never done this before, but yet it was fascinating. And I really did, I thought, a pretty good job. I mean, the reading lasted quite a while, so anyway, you never know when, as Dave and I've talked about before too, in other Wednesdays, share everything. We did a hangout about that, share everything, because the stuff he shares and I share prompts all this stuff.
Yeah, let me
go ahead.
quickly tell the story about how the peacock calligraphy pen happened. We were talking about Hebrew and writing Hebrew, and some of the Hebrew looks like it's calligraphy. So Wendy asked me if I knew how to do calligraphy, and I said, well, I used to do it when I was a kid a little bit. And something just popped in my head about a calligraphy pen with a peacock feather. Yeah, and Wendy said, oh my God.
Oh, I always wanted one of those.
So I'm like, do they even make those? I don't even know what I thought, what made me think of that. It's because I'm speaking the thoughts that come to me without hesitation, without thinking twice about if it makes sense or not. So I went on Amazon and I just typed in calligraphy peacock feather. And the first thing comes up is a real calligraphy set with a peacock feather.
And he's like,
I clicked on that. I said,
sold.
And then, of course,
the other ones show up.
Two other owl feathers available.
And he's like, well, they have owl feathers too.
So I said, do you have any owl feathers? And when he said, no. I said, well, 3 calligraphy pens. Makes perfect sense.
And it's funny, you guys, because I've been talking to the owls and I had been, done videos about it. And I had been thinking for a long time how cool it would be to find an owl feather. Well, of course, I went to the tree where the owl was and it had taken off. And I looked below the tree to see if I could find, at the time, and I looked to see if I could find any owl feathers, and I didn't. And I'm not even sure I would have recognized it. Even if I did, I probably would have had to look it up. But I have a bunch of feathers. I don't even know what kind of birds they're from. Some I do and some I don't. And of course, I've always also wanted to find an eagle feather, which I don't know what the rules are. I guess, I don't know if it's legal or okay to have one, but anyway, I always wanted to find an eagle feather. So, because it's, to me, these are blessings, that these are gifts from our guides and from our higher selves. And we have to remember too, if we understand we create our own reality, that we leave ourselves breadcrumbs. We talk about this all the time because of all these interesting synchronicities, just since he and I have met, have been, I can't even tell you guys. It just, and they keep coming, and it's over, and it's every day. It just, you think that the box of treasures hasn't been opened, or that you've already opened it and taken everything out of the box. And then the next day comes more and more and more and more, and then more explorations and more connecting the dots and more information coming through. And so it's really, really exciting. So is there anybody that, do you guys want to share anything? I know I did want to speak some more light languages. I wanted to say hi to Peg. Does anybody want to say anything or raise their hand? We haven't really gone into more blessings and stuff yet too. How are we doing on time? So yeah, gosh, are we already at that time, Bree? Gosh, we're going on 2 hours already. Okay, let's, well, guys, it's been really fascinating. I've been so excited about sharing all of this. So yeah, let's do some light languages before we leave. And let's also just see if there's you guys have any comments about any of the things that we've talked about, whether it's the incense or, just following your guidance or, synchronicities or any of the things that we've talked about, please feel free to, raise your hand or unmute. And yeah, well.
Okay, that sounds good. I wanted to see if Dolores would like to share anything. She just said she has to leave. So
okay. Dolores,
do you have to go right now, Dolores? She might. Oh yeah, she's gone.
Yes. I'm here. Okay,
Yay!
I would like say something. Erwa manata clarayo, eneheya kiatar entavahar nakayo toho. Lamwanate kira avana hetekleri anna hetaye. Tih la kiera nehe, tih ya la haranama. Imwanate imwahatayo ehkiatar ayanate. Ina nakaya, ina hera, orhana hriate, travana, trahlark ayatane. It seems like, okay, I will say it. The new dawn is to come right now. Almost the new light, or I have to translate what I hear in English. The new light, the new sun, the new dawn, the new era, the new life, the new we. Arma wahakitar ayana la karana hao. We knew halah amatia kutar anahata. We all together her avariena hatikita ayanata lar anayo kita amawanaha. Holding our hands very tight or something together as one. Himruma mantekita ayanahata. No one will left behind tekira ayanahayota avarahana makita arhana. All together as one. Imwahayana kiti ara. Eto karahana hant aravanaha. Now it seems like it is rough time, but it just looks like it is. It isn't really. Harumanata ki aranahayo. Harmona hamakoraya natahe. Ila hekiator ayana. Ila harama mahwakata ayano hata. Very soon, we all will be the joy itself. Eramahatyakat ayana. Ilhatar onakavana hata. The new dawn is coming. Taravana hatakya is already here. Hambaranakata ayana. Just one tiny moment for us to see. Tahriena kera arahana ate oya ana ema mama hamakutuyona. Yuhu mahwake. Ornana kitoraha, emwana he hiakiaro, ena hatia karanaha, eva he yahanako, ermama hamawa he, naharayaka, ermama wakiato tia, eromana hatakiat aranana. That what all of us need is trust ourselves, trust in what we truly are, trust in us, because we are all that is. Haramana haka aya at ena ataha. We are life. We are one. Heteromana, heterokara ayanaha. We are life itself. Haramano, 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 ehlakeo teranaha. Namaste.
Etohina itavishani inania to eva ina ema intia sona eva kinenia to orkoshana sete vishna sete ajo Nizima kosha jema shono seve ishna shavi intavela ki saniti. Ivoshona te inkiela sina imani tari isava anamiana. Amante ilia no makasho dovashona te itavako nani amanete. Izavashona te janati au goemashona te vosona te jerzona shana. Ito inkia lisha sumusovashona sete kia. Lashana seti ito vakoshona sevi amaleko. Mete si sanate do kumashina se ilahina ni kupa kiashana se tu ambakoshana sete. You always, always know and speak my heart, always. You have Vashana Devishna, Miyashana Devoshana to Empaki, Zesona Vishana te Kiashana se. It is truly, and you know this, and I tell you all the time, it is always a divine pleasure that you are here with me. And thank you always for all of your messages to me. I always know when you're thinking and feeling about me and thinking about me, even when you are not sending me messages by typing. So I can always tell, I can always feel you. So thank you for that. And I really do love and appreciate our connection. If Nikki is still here, I think she probably wants to respond to you before you leave as well. So I will say goodbye to you, my sister, and I will let Nikki speak to you as well, because I know she wants to. Love you, and we'll see you. We'll talk soon, okay?
Love you very much. I appreciate everything, as you said, from me to you and to Bree also. Thank you. And to Nikki.
Dave loves you too.
We are always together in the ethers. And we never lose the connection, the soul connection with each other. What I was really feeling when you were reading the blessing, it was, to me, I got the phrase when you were saying, oh, they have it for this, they have it for that, they have it for everything. It was the verbal expression of gratitude. And nomela vena inoma shoetila iketenu vita tushna vanamela ikina la umina ikeno ela ikasesui ela ane enumase, and extending that to all of creation. Ilo aname seloatina venuatila ikiwena nomela iku, as you were saying, Dolores, and that we are all one. Elo inamui ikina utila inimosela ikeno shine utita. Telu isoname kanovane ele u kanamot le aikone e moshe awi kana anune malu atala.
La kramano hata ayana kioro ayana eka imo akilare ona atarna ekia yarana. Namaste.
Namaste.
Love you all.
Love
Bye.
you. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
I'll let you go. Thank you, Nikki. I really appreciate that. Oh, did she leave too? Oh, no,
I'm here.
I'm still there. Thank you for that. I knew that you wanted to speak with her before she left, so I thank you. Mm-hmm. And thank you for what you said to Dave too, because this is the thing that I feel so deeply about, and I'm so grateful about, is that's what this feels like to me, is that every single thing, every blessing, it's all about being grateful for every one of those things that we stand out and look at the sun, we look at the leaves, we look at the flower, we look at lightning, we listen to the rain, we smell the rain. These are blessings in appreciation and complete utter gratitude. And what you said that's how I feel when he's speaking them. And when I'm speaking light languages, we are literally speaking to the entire universe. We're sending gratitude to and from the entire everything everywhere. And this is one of the biggest things that I love about the way we think, about the way we live, about the way our relationship is. It's everything. I mean, everything. It encompasses everything, and everything is always included and intended in everything we do. That's what makes it so amazing, that every minute feels full and intentional, and it's almost like there's no wasted moments. I don't know how to explain it any other way, that that almost every moment is literally intentional and we're aware of it, instead of like, oh, well, you know, burning time sitting, you know, scrolling on the internet mindlessly where 2 hours goes by. That's not intentional living. That is not intentional living. You're letting something else guide what you're feeding your soul. And it's funny, I've not once watched television since I've been here. I've not watched any YouTube videos. Nothing. I haven't needed to, because there's so many other things filling my experience that I've never allowed to fill my experience before. Even the way we enjoy food, every single thing is so enjoyable. I mean, picking out a new bathroom sink was like an amazing, seriously, because it's something you're going to look at forever. I mean, for a long, long time. And it needs to be something that's going to make you feel good. And so you think it's something frivolous, but he wasn't about making things match and look like it used to, or look like each other. No. No, it was, oh, no. You need the sink of a goddess. Serious words. I probably paraphrased, but those were pretty much the words, you know, sink of a queen. Mine doesn't need to match yours because you're the queen. I'm like, goddess, queen, goddess, girlfriend, you know. So how can I complain that somebody wants to get me a beautiful, amazing sink? So it's about the little stuff. So anyway, we'll carry on with blessings because I feel so grateful. But thank you. See how Nikki, that idea though, we bring that gratitude into that too, into that idea of being grateful for that ability to get this wonderful, beautiful sink and look at it every day. And so, yeah, it makes a big difference. Beverly, do you speak light languages? And if you do, would you like to? I'm not sure if we've talked about that, or if you'd like to give any blessing of any kind in any language. I'm okay with that.
Oh, hold on, Beverly. I have to unmute you.
Oh yeah, we got.
Okay, go again.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't speak light language. I've heard it, but I don't speak it.
I was just curious, and since you don't speak it, what brought you to this hangout and the idea of what were you curious about light language? Do you know anything about it, and do you have any questions?
Well, I was woken up one night with somebody talking to me in light language.
In your sleep?
No. I wasn't asleep, but it was dark. I couldn't see.
Okay,
and,
well, because several people have said this to me, that they've either woken up from a dream or they've woken up in the middle of the night hearing or somebody speaking light languages to them and telling them to find somebody on YouTube that speaks light languages, and then they found me.
That's right. And so I was a bit confused because I thought, well, if you're going to speak to me in English, at least, you know what you're trying to tell me. And, so I went to work and told a friend, and she's quite spiritual, and she said, oh, so we're talking in tongues. And then about a fortnight later, it happened again. The first time it was a male voice, and the second time it was a female voice. And I don't think they spoke the same. The first one sounded very native Indian type.
Many
and the
of
second one, I
you.
don't know.
So how long ago was that? When did you have that experience?
A few months ago, because I've been searching ever since. Well, it started about last February just gone.
Okay, so almost a full year now. So, well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. So how's your reaction to the light languages been so far, and maybe just a little bit that we've shared here today?
Well, I've listened to light language. I've actually seen a couple of your videos that I didn't know I'd seen.
Thank you. Oh, okay, thank you.
And your friend Will.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I contacted Will because I followed one of his meditations, and I had some really crazy things come out of it. And I said, well, I need to start understanding. I get most weeks now, I get woken up in the sort of 3 o'clock. I don't know. I don't look at the time
That's
anymore.
usually about the time too. 3 and then even 333,
And
444,
I'm getting
456.
downloads and downloads and downloads of stuff. Loads of symbols. You know, it's just
I'm very excited that you're here telling us about this.
huge amounts of symbols that I can't even remember. I mean, everybody keeps saying write them down. Well, I can't because there's too many.
Yep.
They're in boxes, they're triangles, they're lights, they're
Yep.
So you need to know
the
that
one that I saw.
Very normal. You're in the right place. The reason why you came here is because that's one of the things I do, and I do a lot of it. A lot. I have volumes and volumes and volumes of these pages and pages.
The thing is that sometimes I see faces, and a lot of times I just see like a vision through cheese, as I call it.
I get it. I understand.
But I'm not quite sure, but because it goes really quick, I can't. It's not even a second; it's a flash.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I saw your face, or somebody very similar to you, a few weeks ago.
That wouldn't surprise me. A lot of people tell me, even if they've never met me, that they've had dreams about me. Even before they met me. I saw a flash,
and it was a side view. And you know, when Will says you need to contact my friend, I thought I've seen you.
Oh, so Will told you to contact me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think he did. I missed his hangout. I think he did one last night. For any of you guys who it's Reiki with Will. He's got a YouTube channel. He and I are friends. We've done lots of events together, and he speaks light languages as well. And he does meditations free on YouTube.
I do have a look.
And he did one last night. He did one last night, and I didn't see it until after it was over, but or the link for it, but so if you wanted to watch it, the YouTube channel is called Reiki with Will, and you can watch the replay last night. And he's got a bunch of videos too, and meditations and light language stuff. And I've got a bunch of events on my channel, and so he and I both have done stuff together. But well, thanks, Will, for sending Beverly.
Beverly, the flash that you saw, is it like how can you describe the flash? Is it like you're still seeing your physical reality in front of you, but there's like this energetic overlay that flashes, or how can you exactly describe that? Because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Flash. It's like I'm in the stars. It's dark, but there's lights. So, and then I just get these flashes of symbols, but there's millions of them. There's so many of them coming in.
I completely understand, because that's how it happens to me, and it's really it's hard for me to describe to people how it happens. If you haven't already, try to draw them, because they're messages for you, they're activations for you. And the reason I do them, I'm guided to share them with people, is because they're telling me, and this is one of the things I do in private sessions with people. I create symbols just for them intuitively. My guides tell me what they need to help activate you to do the things that you came to do. And then, so these symbols for you are also for you, but I'm also hearing they're also for you to write and share with other people, because this is one of the reasons why we're guided to do that and share them with each other, because it activates people. So,
yeah, well, they want to be sending them a little bit more slowly.
Well, I know, I cannot keep up. And actually, as I was writing them today, this girl's watching me and she says, well, you're writing those very fast. I said, and she says, and you don't know what you're, and I said, no, I don't. I don't know what it means. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get information, sometimes I don't. It just, sometimes, today they said these are angel messages. Sometimes they tell me if it's a particular collective, or if it's a particular, sometimes they'll say, this is the Lyran Syrian collective, or the Lyran Syrian council, or the Pleiadian council, or this council, or the council of 11, or sometimes I hear stuff, sometimes I don't. But as you begin to start writing what you can remember and keep up with, you will be able to get them faster and write them faster, but that's not the goal. The goal is not to write them all. It's just to write any of them that you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I do as a service to help people is either create ones for them, or I do light language consultations with people who are already doing it, who don't know what to do or what is this. And so we'll talk about what information are you getting? What information am I getting that I share with you? What do they mean to you? How do they compare? I'm starting to really see all across the world now that we are all, and I've been doing this now for, you know, as far as sharing this stuff, maybe a little over 5, 6, 7 years. On YouTube, I've been 5 years now. So I am fascinated by the similarities and how many of us live all over the world writing the same symbols, and how many of us, and Bree and I've talked about this, and even Dave and I, about how these symbols are so similar to so many other symbols that have been out in the world already in all, you know, we can look in alphabets and all of these other places, and how even, and that's a whole nother subject, but how Bree and I know a woman who, Anita Meyer, who has already talked about this stuff about Hebrew and the beginning of language and how it relates to light language, and how every letter can be made into the same Star of David, and how it's sound, how Sanskrit and Hebrew and Sumerian were the beginnings of language, the beginnings of taking thought and putting it into a word, a sound, a vibration, and then making a symbol, a written letter that corresponds to that. And then now we've taken the human collective consciousness is also understood, oh, wait, numbers must be included. Numbers must have something to do with it too, because the numbers, the letters of the alphabet, how many letters there are, how many, if we spell our name out, what are the corresponding numbers, and what does that equal? We're instinctively guided to ask ourselves this stuff, instinctively. We don't know why. Hi, Stefan. So all of this is related. Go ahead, Beverly.
I was going to say, I've never, well, I'm in the science realm. That's my my forte. So, you know, I do know about a little bit about physics and
yes.
things. I wouldn't profess to know a lot, but I know a little bit. I come from a religious background of everything. Mother's Catholic, father's Jewish.
Oh, well, and I mean, I grew up in kind of a Christian idea, and then of course Dave's Jewish. So now we've got both sides of the gamut here too. So
well, I've just been brought up very openly. I keep losing you.
Oh, are you? Am I okay? Am I coming?
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
But I've always been fascinated with the universe, stars, science. But last week when I had was meditating with one of Will's meditation thingies, bizarre things, flashes of the desert. I saw the desert and it looked like some place in America. It certainly wasn't England, because we don't have a desert in England. I saw a spacecraft came at me. A spacecraft came out of a vortex straight at me, and I nearly fell off my bed, and it brought me out the meditation. I saw a lady with just her skirt, legs and shoes on the ground. It was bizarre.
Wow.
So you hadn't experienced anything like that before?
Yeah, I have. Mainly it's seeing people. Usually people, faces come to me, but this was really random. It was it was taking me in all different directions of seeing a lady in a skirt, but I couldn't see her, just the skirt, the legs and the shoes on the ground. Stood up. I mean, how bizarre is that?
Well, you're nothing could surprise me that you could tell me, but this is absolutely fascinating. Because we've all had so many weird experiences, we don't even know how to explain them. We really do not we can't explain it.
I had a 2 weeks in August where every day I saw dragons, baby dragons in the clouds every day. And I'd look up.
You are not alone. You are not alone. A lot of people see dragons in the clouds. A lot. You'd be surprised. This is not.
I've never seen it before.
Not unusual.
And
so you're not crazy. You're here to tell.
This is the thing. You know, you think, oh my God, am I going crazy? And then, of course, it's my age. I don't know whether I'm going through the menopause, but whenever I'm meditating, I get so hot.
Yep. So do we. Our whole because your vibration is raising. When you raise your vibration, your molecules literally move faster, just like a microwave, and you're cooking.
Cooking. That's how I am.
Yes, you're cooking.
I just have to go outside and cool down.
Yes. It happens. Even when I'm in a hangout, sometimes I get so hot sometimes because our vibration gets so high. And I did a reading the other night with a bunch of people who are not used to this, never done like oracle readings. Every single person in the room, as soon as we were done, everyone said, oh my God, I'm so hot. Everyone in the room, as soon as we were done, we're like, oh, I'm sweating and I'm getting chills because I'm so sweaty and I'm hot, but I'm cold and all of us were sweating.
My feet are freezing.
Yes, because we're sweating and we're wet, but we're cold because we're chilled because we're sweating. It's the weirdest damn thing ever.
Yeah.
So you're not alone. This is why we do these hangouts. So people know they're not crazy. And when she said that to me, when she left that day, she said, thank you for making me know I'm feeling like I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I said, no, you're not crazy. Nope, you're not. You just happen to find people who know and experience the same things you're doing because we energetically are putting our vibration out there. Why do you think you started dreaming of it? And then you find Will and then he sends you, I mean, you know what I mean? It's all a part of your process.
Beverly, you weren't dreaming of the light language though. When you first started hearing that back in February, you said you were
actually
laying in bed and then you audibly heard a voice. Was it like audible, like it sounded like it was in the room with you? That type of clairaudience?
Yeah.
And was that the first time you experienced something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard somebody calling my name.
I did too. I heard that one time and it really weirded me out. This was many years ago.
Yeah, well, I hear that quite a lot. And sometimes, like a few months ago, I was late for work. I didn't know it. I'd overslept. And I kept hearing, Beverly, 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 like this. And I woke up and I went, what? And then I looked at the phone and I thought, oh, I'm late for work.
Wow. Well, the reason I was asking is just because, so you knew nothing about light language, speaking in tongues. Did you know that the languages you were hearing were not earth languages per se, meaning like English, Spanish, French, or were you wondering if they were? Did you know?
Well, the first one, I mean, it was so lovely. It was beautifully spoken, and I just pictured I thought, is that Spanish? No, it's not Spanish. And I was going through all the languages, and then I thought, I know what it is. It sounds like Native American. That's how it sounded. It had that beautiful tone to it. But like I say, the lady was slightly different. It might have been the same, but because it was a lady, it didn't sound the same.
Wow.
But it could have been.
That's really
I know
interesting.
nothing.
Very exciting. I'm excited.
Nikki has a question for you, Beverly.
Yes.
Is that okay? I have a question for you if you don't mind me asking you a question in light language and just see what you feel and just kind of let it flow over you and see if you might answer me energetically or telepathically, and if you do, I'll let you know. So yeah, let me see. Yeah, I have a question. It's something about Kilo ana neme esuni oshona ivo ana enemela avase. Yeah, you're answering me telepathically. Hang on, let me listen to what you're saying. Okay, so Ive Okoyisa Suni Esusane, think of expanding your heart space awareness, like allow that area, like open it up a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, and now you're talking to me energetically. Ele enu isuvane, remember menu isalavase, remember ele aninama, remember inu nima avoana, ela one inu name avase. And you're talking to me telepathically. Okay. So Kimosevene is like you're having all these, as you were saying, all these massive downloads all the time. Ilo atutisosevane malu ikina is just, I'm hearing to say like allow it to seep in and just permeate you. It's like it's soaking in. I'm getting the image of like, you know, like when you soak bread in an egg and it just has to seep in, and you're getting this total immersion really quickly all at once. And then slowly, it's all going to start to make more and more sense to you. And like good for you for not being in fear about it. And that you're curious.
Oh no, I
know that's what's cool.
It's
like you're just being curious and like trying to find out more about it. So that's good. And that allows for more of your own awareness to surface.
When the downloads come in, I am awake. You know, I've got my eyes shut, but I'm awake. But the feeling is beautiful. It is incredibly blissful. So I don't fear it.
That is one of the first experiences I had with light language. I've actually never had it. Well, I shouldn't say never, but when I first started listening to them, I was fascinated how beautiful and blissful and emotional I felt.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think for me, I think my heart has been closed for so many years. I've become quite hard to life.
Well, it's the biggest gift that many of us have found with light language is the gift that seems to be the most beautiful, is the activation of the heart, opening the heart, speaking from the heart to the heart, because light language can only be spoken that way. It is not a mind, it is not something you think. You cannot formulate it with your mind. It can only be spoken through your soul and through your heart. There is no other way to speak it. It just isn't. And so those of us who spent our lives in analytical jobs, whatever the case may be, not supporting and nurturing our creative selves, we really do put our heart, we kind of close off our heart because it's required in certain, you know what I mean? In order to survive sometimes in those densities, it's required. But now we're starting to understand when the heart chakra opens, we either begin to, usually two things happen. We either learn to open our heart and doing the things that we're doing now and finding a way to express ourselves doing the things we love, or it becomes glaringly obvious we can no longer do the work we're doing because it does not resonate with who we are anymore. And we are able to identify this is no longer what's going to serve me. And it's our soul pointing us in a completely different direction. I have had clients who have had jobs they come to me and say, you know what, I've done this or this, and my guides are telling me now I'm a healer. I don't know nothing about it, but they're telling me I'm a healer and I'm supposed to see you. And I have no idea what's going on because they've never done anything like this before, ever. They don't know what they don't even know, well, what do you mean healer? What does that mean? What am I supposed to do? Each of us are guided in our own way to what that actually means. And so we either learn, once again, to bring that healing or what it is that we want into the work that we're already doing, or change our work entirely, or maybe a combination of both. It can go a lot of different ways. And as you can see,
I don't know what they
I
want.
sign, so does Nikki. You know, we all have different ways of expressing information, and you're receiving information through her hand signing, my signing, you know, her speaking languages, you guys conversing, and you're going to be, we then are guided to do new things, or approaching things in a new way, or thinking of something new, or you just get something, you're like, you know what, I want to move. Oh, I want a new job. I mean, just out of nowhere, you're like, you know what? I don't know why, but I have to trust this. And if you're new to this and me and my channel and my situation and Dave, he and I just left a 45-year relationship and jumped off a cliff with somebody, not literally, but I actually fell in love and moved in with somebody I met once, physically, once.
You're very lucky.
And that was just this past August. Though I've known him for more than a year, that was just this past August that we met physically for the first time.
I'm really interested to see with all the new energy.
And here I am.
How it causes people to relocate and shift around. And
it was immediate.
So many people will be shifting, like relocating.
I made the decision one morning, and a week later, I was already, within 7 days, I was ready to leave, gone, packed all my things. Not all of them, the rest are, you know, will be shipped, but I took what I needed, and I made a decision, and I said goodbye to everything I've ever built, planned, anything, everything I ever thought I cared about. And it's not that I didn't care about it. It wasn't filling every need, every part of me, everything. And we had both decided through life experiences, previous relationships, all of those things, and all of those, and then some that didn't have nothing to do with it. No more were we looking to pursue a relationship of any kind unless it was everything. It's everything or nothing. There was no in between. There's no more, no hiding, no not talking about nothing. No, we have already decided that it was going to be, everything would be discussed, or there was not going to be a relationship and it wasn't going to work. Everything. That's not comfortable always, but I found it to be quite freeing.
You think it won't be comfortable.
You think it won't be comfortable till you do it. Once you do it, you realize there is no other way, and you realize how uncomfortable it was to be doing it every other way. Sorry, Ranger's getting antsy. He's hungry. He needs a walk. So we're going to try to speed this up because we're getting ready to close. But this is a huge, huge topic that I'm glad that we touched on, because this is why we needed to have this conversation. There's somebody else who needs to hear this, including you, Beverly. So whatever that means in your life, it doesn't necessarily mean a relationship with a person. It could be a relationship with you, or another job, or maybe a new way of thinking, or someplace new to live, or it could be a myriad of these things, or none of them at all. It could be something that's only unique to you. Maybe it's just you want to learn to speak light language, or maybe you don't, or maybe it's got, it brought you here for a reason, and it brought you to meet Will and then me. So there's a reason, and then you had these meditations, and that ET encounter in your meditation for a very specific reason.
I feel comfortable with you.
Thank you. And this is why we do this space, because I felt the need to create a space, a comfortable, sacred space, and Bree knew she wanted to create it too with me. And this is why we've been doing this we've been doing it for 6 months. We just decided, I just had this thing where I wanted to do something regular, but I wanted it to be about this stuff. And I do a lot of other things, but I don't do it here. I don't do oracle card readings on Wednesdays. We don't get into crystals and all this other stuff, but I wanted to talk about all of this today, because all of this is related to the language of light. It is related to information coming through smell and sound and all of it. So this was an element that I had not talked about yet in depth. And when we found this information about incense, I felt the need to discuss it today, along with this idea of the writing utensils, and how even what we used to write with. Think about how different it is between how I used to write my journals in pencil. Now then I started doing them in pen. How different it is to write in colors and markers and crayons. But anyway, all of those are different levels of light and different ways of expressing ourselves. So all of this is information for you, Beverly, I feel to really get some more creative and spiritual and freedom juices flowing within you to let you really start loving you and everything else around you more. And even if you love your job, maybe there's a way to incorporate this into it and to understand numbers is sacred geometry, is vibration, is light language, is all of this. It's all related. So the fact that you're interested in numbers and I'm interested in numbers and he's interested in numbers and computers and programming, all of this is, I used to computer program too. So that's what he does. So it's all related. You know, I learned, I don't remember any of it, but I learned how to count in, binary and hex. And I don't remember. It was all part of my activation process. My jobs were part of my activation process. Can you see, if you can see it from that perspective, how this has brought you to that point where even if you want to continue to do it or don't want to continue to do it, the point is it's your way of activating and connecting some dots for you. And you just happen to come in through it from math, from that idea of science and physics and mathematics and literally numbers. I love numbers. I've always loved numbers all my life. Have no idea, but I hated math. Seriously hated math. Really, but loved numbers. And numerology and their expression and how do they connect to things and how is sacred geometry, or when you cut up an orange or pi and sacred ratios and all of it, how is all this related? I wanted to know, how is all this related? So it is related. So this is a very big subject, and I know we've got to get closing up for today, but thank you. I'm really happy that this was initiated, this conversation, because this is important for all of us to understand that what we do for a living isn't necessarily the end all be all of what we want to be doing for the rest of our lives, but it's a very precious stepping stone, an activation process that we've got to give credit for. I've done all kinds. I've cleaned houses. I've done computer programming. I've worked in car dealers. I worked for a printing company. Every single one of those jobs was an activation for me of something different that I needed to do this work today, which I did not start, Beverly, until I was 50 years old and already retired from all of those other jobs. That's when I started doing my real work in my life. When I said goodbye to the things that I always believed were the only way I could be supported financially and every other way. And I realized that is not true. I'm living proof. I never had a website and did this work before I retired and was before 50 years old. No, I did not. I just turned 58 on Thanksgiving. And I've had my light language channel for 5 years, and I've been doing this other stuff for about, I don't know, a little over that. Not much longer than that. So
I've definitely come on a journey, a very long journey.
I said that to somebody the other day. I've been on a very long journey, and then it was my brother, and I gave him my website. He didn't know anything that I did up until probably three weeks ago. It wasn't his time.
No.
So if you're watching, love you, Chris. So it wasn't his time. It wasn't our time. It wasn't my time to let him know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No,
but it didn't. None of my family knew what I was doing for years. Not even my ex-husband. For a whole year, I had a YouTube channel before he even knew what I was doing. A whole year I had it. Doing light languages. And he didn't even know. He didn't even know I spoke light language. He didn't even know I spoke it, let alone had a YouTube channel. Thank you. So
how long have you been speaking it?
Speaking it since August of 2014. And I started just by in a group like this of other people all over the world who are already speaking it and talking about it and channeling and talking about ETs and and their experiences and dreams and spirits and angels and everything else. And I started channeling and speaking light languages and started my YouTube channel in January. So just a few months after I started speaking light language, I was guided to start Languages of Lights. And that's when it was born. But I didn't have a website until January of 2019, thanks to Bree.
So do you all understand one another?
No, we do, but we don't. Like, now when you hear us going back and forth, like especially with Nikki, I love when she comes in too, because she does English and light language, and she'll say to you, I have a question for you. And then she'll just ask you in light language. She doesn't care how you respond, because it's the energy behind it. She'll say, that's fine. You just told me in telepathically. She doesn't expect you to respond in light language, but she knows and then sometimes we laugh, like Bree and I will have light language conversations and we are laughing and joking, but we have no idea what we're talking about. But it's the sound, it's the timbre, it's the excitement behind it. We laugh, we cry. It's weird. We don't get it. Sarah.
And then sometimes there are actual translations.
And sometimes there's.
So it depends. It totally depends on a few different factors. And I like to talk about it such as like looking at a painting and then saying, what is the translation of this painting? Right. Well, you know, there could be a lot. Now, the person who painted it could have had a specific intention for what they created in front of them. And so sometimes there is a literal translation, but because light language is multidimensional and multifaceted and multi-layered, and it can include such massive, giant packets of information in a tiny, you know, in sounds that we're saying or in things that we're writing and drawing or telepathically expressing. It can also be impossible to translate into our earth languages. So it's kind of like a feeling that, and what I find fascinating is, like, you know, sometimes Wendy will receive translations. I know Jim Charles will receive like direct translations. Now they're channeling, they're feeling into this, but sometimes there are like actual channel translations that can come through. And that's from a specific perspective. And so we always have to take that into consideration, is, does it resonate?
And we've talked about this too before, Bree and I, and in Hangouts, that I personally like to use the word interpretation better than translation, because as Bree said, we can interpret a painting many, many ways. That doesn't mean it's translated a specific message. We understand the difference between the words. Translation, a translator takes this word and says, oh, this word means this in this language. That's not what this is about. It's interpreting the information, interpreting. We can listen to light languages, and because my guides have said to me, these are layers of light. There's very many, lots and lots and lots and lots of layers of information contained in. Most people will receive all of that in a different way, but you're going to get it the way you need it. One thing, since you're new to symbols, that I'm guided to tell you is, and I've said this in a few of my Hangouts, but say, for example, like there's like one little tiny symbol here, which is difficult to see. But the point is my guides have said to me, one symbol can be the entire Akashic record of an entire planetary system. And you are reading in one simple symbol, you're literally absorbing their entire story of maybe their entire ascension process and their entire Akashic records of an entire society of beings in one symbol. How do I explain that to the public and say, I'm going to translate that? I cannot.
It's like photosynthesis.
Right? It's like a zip file.
Well, photosynthesis is an interesting word to use when we're talking about light language, because there is a literal analogy there that we could go more into. And was I talking to you about this, Wendy? I was talking to somebody about photosynthesis and light language one time. I don't know if it was you.
Well, plus two, we talked about photosynthesis and light language, because we also talked about the fact that, and that goes a whole nother thing, but that plants actually speak, they sing, we can hook up electrodes, hear their music. It's a thing, it's scientific. All of this is all along the same lines, all of it. It's all singing to us when we walk outside, but we can't hear it. We hear it with a different set of ears. We hear it with It's like a dog whistle. We've talked about that before. The dog can hear it, but we can't. It's just a different frequency. It's just a different frequency. That doesn't mean we can't hear it with some of our senses. When we look at the sky, you see those dragons in the sky. Do you have any doubt that that's what it is? No. Because you know. You can't imagine it if it isn't what you think it is. It's not physically possible. You can't. You can't imagine something you're not already tuned into. The tuning comes first. The reflection comes next. You know that. You turn the radio, you get a song. You turn the dial, you get a song. You can't get the song till you turn the dial. It doesn't work the other way. You don't get the thing first and then you have to be the frequency first, then you get the thing. It doesn't work the other way. It can't. It's math, it's science, it's physics, it's reality. It's how we create. It is the fabric of the blueprint of reality, which we can change the template blueprint reality. He and I talk about this all the time. We're changing the blueprint reality about showing people what everything love actually is. Not what we think it is, what it really is. Not by talking about it, by experiencing it and living it, and then just sharing our experiences. What else do you have? You can tell somebody all day long. How do you tell somebody, how do I explain love to someone who has, a 6-year-old or whatever? How do you explain love?
Well, you can't, because everybody's experience is different.
Correct. There you go. That's how. So now you know how to explain creation. It's a perspective of everybody's going to have a different perspective, and none of them are wrong. They're all just a different place in creation, but all perspectives are equal, and they're all equal and valid. None are right or wrong. They all exist. We don't have to focus on them because they're all our own experience. This is what we came to learn. Unity consciousness, allow. Everything is going to exist whether you like it or not. So you might as well figure out what you like and concentrate on that instead, because everything else exists whether we want it to or not, including all of our other selves that have done some pretty shitty, weird, crazy, horrible things even. But you know what? That's creation and it's experience, and that's the way it goes. Well,
Wendy, I was about to jump off, but you started talking to me energetically while you're talking and all that. But can you say something about Kilo Aname Eva Nama Asava?
It's a voshana ji in kiasana teva is a moshata kila kunania fasa se boshe. Kia mai iva so na vashana velante ibanete kila tore shema sota vekita de she someya. Ikashe si mizove she tiki is a bosa vishanate iva na baleki vashana sova antea ni zana topa ashana kila kupate timana tupashana se kunata tele kupashana se iva ni servato kupashana teva kianate sevason eva tode inta ni shoke masha shoboshonate izata teleminatufa kefoshonate vonoma lashonate itade senase sabakia nateshanose. Now, Beverly, I know sort of what I said because I can hear it, and she knows what I said. It's a feeling though, isn't it? Zavashana jenta vianade tamakote fashana sopayante kiamade lashane. It's the timbre, it's the tone, it's the sound, it's languages we know we speak to each other when we sleep and when we are in our multi dimensions. Do I know what I'm saying right now, word for word, translatable, interpretable? No, I do not.
Now, Ukanamale, I'm gonna dispute that, and I wish people would watch.
Well, not dispute, but yeah, I mean, yes.
No, I just want to say, good. No, so Beverly understands. Now she could say, "Do I know what I'm saying to say it in English?" No, not exactly. But that doesn't mean she doesn't know what she's saying.
Exactly. Thank you.
So some part of her, like some part of us, and some part of whatever you are feeling, and that of all this stuff that's coming to you, some part of you understands that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming in that way. Or you wouldn't be, you wouldn't be receiving all those symbols or the language. So some part of us understands.
Correct. That's absolutely correct.
Sometimes we are, which that's why whatever I feel like I asked you to say, then I was getting this integrating wave that I felt was helping integrate things across dimensional space, because sometimes it is translating something from one realm to another to help it be more understandable.
Definitely.
And like which like if the frequency here is the same as this, and we're kind of matching that up so that we can get more understanding, which goes back to this, that the beginning of this all, like the expansion of consciousness and the expansion of understanding.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, as you're talking, Nikki, I'm also hearing that as you're saying that, they're showing me too, to remember that when we're sending that out, we're expanding consciousness. Consciousness receives the information, munches it, absorbs it. And then what happens is, as they're showing me now, then we receive the frequency response back from the universe, the cosmic, all that is, saying, we received your response. It's now a part of the new Akash. Here's the new record. There you go. And now all of that is part of the new record, which is now part of you. And you were responsible for that. We're letting you know you're responsible for that. This is what has added to all that is. This is the reflection of that back to you. And it's like a simultaneous conversation that we're receiving to our heart, and all of this other stuff in our light bodies, layers and layers and layers, that can actually come back as, oh my God, all of a sudden I'll start crying.
Well, it's like a call and response very often.
Yes.
But sometimes, like, I love when there's numerous people on talking, and then I will often get more information that comes in English based on what somebody else is putting out. And it'll also, because you have somebody else to bounce the information off of. So it is an interaction of the energies and merging of these energies. So is also a collective understanding of what we bring from our different perspectives, or different understandings of, or just really different perspectives, as we're all kind of positioned around working on different various things. We have our own unique view and perspective, but it's still part of the all that is relatable. It's all relatable to each other. So, and then it gives us all this bigger, a fuller picture.
Yes, it actually gives us that bigger picture, because it shows us the changes that we have made, and allows us to see the reflection of that of that change and all that is. But it's an energetic reflection and an energetic reception.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Sarah, go ahead. Yeah, because I want to wrap up, you guys. It's getting really, really late here, and we've got.
Sorry.
So no, I'm happy that this is why we love when new people come into the group, and then you've got other people interacting, because this was an extremely, extremely important conversation all the way around. So I encourage this. We have gone with these hangouts for several hours, Beverly, if we've had to, because Bree and I understand the importance of receiving this information, but just being that we're under the weather and stuff. And we just wanted to make sure that we give everyone the opportunity to share, but also kind of keep it as short as possible today. So, and being that next week, 7 days from now, is actually Christmas Day. So we won't be doing anything, next week for that reason. I mean, I'm sure that we'll be, Bree's probably busy, but so anyway, that was the reason why I wanted to do this today, and being our last one of this year of 2019. And that doesn't mean we can't, but I assumed that she was going to be with her family, and there'd be family people doing.
Yes, I will be.
So there's no reason to
maybe two families, Wendy.
Well, see, that would be pretty exciting. Yeah. So yeah.
So Sarah wanted to say something. I can hear you, Sarah.
Okay, I just wanted to expand on what Nikki was saying about how we understand it. Our brain just cannot explain it in English, because as you were speaking, Wendy, your whole body was interpreting what you were speaking in the light language.
Absolutely.
Your whole body. And so we literally, cellularly, know exactly what we're saying. And the body moves in response to what it understands that you are saying. And so with all of the sign language, with all of the body movement, with all of the speaking, it's all a language. Now, when you begin connecting to the heart of it all, because you cannot interpret, like you said, in English with the brain, because the languages are teaching us to connect, to balance our bodies with our hearts, because we're taught to use our brains. We mostly use our brains in our everyday society and understanding of how our world works. And now we're learning how to use our hearts in the same manner and balancing both aspects, the mind and the body with the spirit. And the heart has to do with the spirit itself, because we're spirit first and body second. So we're learning to blend ourselves in those aspects, the mind, body, and spirit. So the heart gives you the power of that understanding, that blending and becoming your whole self again, instead of just your body and your mind. Do you understand? So we're learning to become all of who we are in that blend, in that balance of it all. So even when you're hearing the frequencies of the light language, it is becoming interpreted in the body, whether you're the one speaking or whether you're the one hearing. You'll find that certain body parts begin to move, or your ear begin to perk up, or you'll have a brain function begin to move inside of your brain and you can feel it. Or your hands heat up, because your body is literally responding to the information that you are perceiving. Okay? Mm-hmm. So earlier when you said your hands were lighting up or becoming hotter, it's because your body is responding to that information without your brain understanding of the how.
Still am.
Still are. Yes.
Yeah.
So the interpretation is literally going kind of like three ways. So you have person A, person B, plus the energy that they're interpreting and sharing at the same time. So this energy becomes like a third entity. Do you see? Do you understand? And that third entity actually translates to.
Oh, did we lose Sarah? Oh.
Yeah, Sarah, you cut out.
We lost you, Sarah. I just wanted to let you know that we can't hear you.
You hear me?
Oh, yeah, now we do.
You're back. Last thing you said is translate something.
Yeah, I just wanted you to feel that information, how your body is literally translating between person A, B, and the third entity, which is the information and the energy being given. And you're both sharing that information with each other. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting it out there for your own awareness and your own cognizance, so your brain can begin to kind of feel out what's truly going on inside your body itself and in the heart, because this is all about the balance of the mind and the heart.
Mm.
Okay? And your spiritual information comes from the heart itself. So it's refocusing that information. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Very good. Thank you for allowing me to say that, because I've never said that to anyone before. That just came out.
Well, that's very good information to share, Sarah. Thank you for sharing that, especially with someone new to light language. And it actually just briefly, though, brings up a thing, though, too, Beverly, that people are weird about channeling and channeling light languages because we do involuntary things. We really don't, and we sound weird, and we're chanting, and some of the languages can sound a little scary, and some people think it's negative, but it's not necessarily negative, but there's so many nuances to it that people are afraid to share them, but once more of us do share. So yeah, you'll see a lot of hand signs. You'll hear sounds that are I mean, we can talk light languages that sound, you know, I mean, I could go on and on and on and on with all different kinds of languages that some of them sound a little scary. And some of them sound, you know, some of them are very deep, and some of them are very slow, and some of them are very fast, and some of them are very quiet and loving, and some of them are not so much. And some of them, I can't necessarily always identify the source, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, because of my energy and who I rendezvous with, and there's never, ever anything negative about any of my energy or entities that I bring through ever. And I never once ever doubt that, never. Because as soon as I doubt it, that's how the door opens. It's the only way the door opens. The only way. If you always know without a shadow of a doubt, but as Dave and I talk about, and we have to be reminded, we still have to ask every day, be with me, give me information. I don't ever ask for protection though, because I don't need it. I've already asked once. However, some people feel the need to reiterate that every day or ask every day. That's just me. I believe that if I have to ask more than once for protection, I'm talking about protection here. I feel that if I have to ask more than once, that means that I somehow have a hole, a crack in my belief system that thinks I need to ask for it. But once I've asked already, I've already known and have been told many, many times, I have nothing to worry about, nothing to worry about, because it's not possible for me to let anything like that in unless it's for the sake of teaching, which it does not come in. The reference comes in, but none of the rest of this stuff. Just the information, that's it. So, but that, you know, but all that that just comes with self-trust, self-love, and self-belief. And when we have these hangouts, it helps each other trust each other. It helps us trust ourselves, I mean, when we hear it from each other. That's what I'm saying. So, and Sarah was one of the very first people that I've ever started speaking light languages with. And was in hangouts with many, many years ago. She was one of the very, very first people I ever met in these hangouts before I started my YouTube channel. So you'll see people coming and going in these hangouts who we've known each other a day, a month, few months, a couple years. Some of us have been together since I started at the beginning when I started this stuff. I met Dave a year ago, and then we really didn't converse or really see each other for a whole year until Bree and I just this last August did an event in Fort Lauderdale, the very first light language public event she and I have ever done, where we talked about this stuff and did it in public and talked about our experiences, and there were three of us teaching, or not teaching, but, you know, actually leading the event. And Dave came with AJ, and that's how we met and started talking. And then after the event was over, we just started corresponding, and here I am. That's how fast this happened. Literally how fast this happened. I mean, it was only what, September, October, and by November I was here.
Okay. Thank you.
People might think that's a little crazy, but call me crazy. Call us crazy. We don't care.
It's funny, this information. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
The information that I was just speaking to you is downloading more information about this third entity we create as person A and person B. It's telling me more and more and more information about that. I'm like,
I'll tell you what, you know what, Sarah, we're going to close up. Yeah. If you guys want to connect with each other, you know, and talk and stuff and go through, you know, please feel free. That's one of the reasons why we do these. So people can start forming relationships on their own. I do want to close up for today because it is getting really late. So I do appreciate that, Sarah. And actually what you've brought up is a very good thing, because 1 + 1 = 3. It's alchemy. Once we do something, then we create that third thing. And I think that's kind of a little bit of what's going on here. I'm talking about that idea. So, but at any rate, yes, please do. If you do feel connected to each other, please do reach out. One of the things that we do these hangouts is for that, so we can connect with each other. personally. And it's not just about doing this today. It's about all of you meeting each other, hanging out with each other, starting these, you know, conversations with each other. That's why we do this. And Beverly, we're here, you know, we, as far as we know, plan to continue these on a regular basis. I'm also a teacher on Awake TV network, Awake TV network. And it's where I share this information about light languages and light language linguistics and multidimensionality. I've got tons and tons of videos that you can watch. Obviously, there's a lot of other people on YouTube too that helped me in my journey, but there was not very many when I started. But now there's a lot of people speaking light languages and a lot of people making videos, a lot of people on Facebook, lots of groups, lots of information out there, everyone. And I encourage everyone to explore, because there's lots of people out there with lots of vibrations and lots of things to learn. And it's not just me. I appreciate you coming here. Obviously, you have a very specific vibration and very specific reasons for your journey. And I appreciate you coming here, and I'm here. You know, we're all here. You can always contact me, all of you, and you personally, you guys can always contact me at languagesoflights@gmail.com. Go on my website, languagesoflights.com, and you can reach me through there. You know, I do this stuff for, you know, do sessions with people if it's something you're interested, but there's a lot of free stuff. I do tons. You wouldn't, it would take you years, I mean, weeks to watch everything I've done. And that's just my stuff. That's just me. So
I've been watching quite a lot.
got a bunch. We've all got we've all got a lot of stuff out there. So I appreciate you being here. Please do. I encourage all of you to hook up, get with each other. Thank all of you for being out in the YouTube chat with us. We love your interactions. We love all you guys. You guys make a huge difference in my life and in Dave's life and in Bree's. We've really had a huge joy doing this. And again, thanks to all of you who wait for us and who are excited when we're doing this and who are sad when we're not here. It means a lot to us to know that you guys are looking for us when we're not able to do it. And hopefully we can continue this and do these at other times. And I appreciate all of you, and even you, Beverly, in the UK. It's late for you. I know, you know, it's getting late in the evening for everyone. And so I appreciate all of you who come to visit us from all over the world. And I wish all of you wonderful holidays, however you celebrate these things, or even if you don't. Every single day I've come to understand really needs to be treated as a special day, a special occasion. Call it a holiday. Isn't it funny how we call holidays, because they're called holy days? And shouldn't I really have learned, and especially through these principles and even these blessings and the Hebrew blessings and all of the things that I've learned about all of this, that really every day is a holy day. And people really do treat every day as holy days, and people devote themselves to that. And even if we can move through our lives moment by moment in a state of holy day, and knowing that if we greet and treat each other the way we do at holidays every single day, but most importantly, ourselves, gifting ourselves things, treating ourselves with love and respect and kindness and encouragement and support, not just once or twice a year, but every single day, it really does change everything. Every single thing, because it changes every cog, which changes every cog, which changes every cog. There is no other way. Every change changes everything. And with that said, everything, we chose to not settle for anything less than every single thing that life has to offer, and love and support and guidance and everything that we believe a relationship can be, is what we just want to live and be, not teach, not preach, live and share. That's it, because that's all we all have, that's it. You can tell stuff to a kid, you can tell stuff to a person, you can read a book, but until you live it and apply it, it means nothing. And so applying this information, applying these principles, applying incense and light languages and meditation and intention into our lives it doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be ceremony. All it could be is, I am grateful for this cup of coffee. I'm so grateful for this moment. look at the lightning, smell the rain, love the food, look at the beautiful colors. Simple, simple, simple. We're able to pack so much wonderful, beautiful things into our simple everyday stuff that everything is an amazing adventure. This is the way life is supposed to be, you guys. It's not what we've been taught. It really isn't. And all of you bring this to my life, all of you. And thank you, Bree, for being with me all of these months and doing this, even on days when she and I didn't want to, when we were tired or angry or busy or upset or emotional or had everything else in the world going on and every reason not to be here and show up. Yet we're here and you guys are here making a difference. So thank you to all of you. Thank you, Bree. And I know she's very tired and doesn't feel good and my throat needs a rest. So we're going to go. I thank all of you. Normally we would leave with a bunch of light language blessings, but I think today we're just going to keep it kind of short. We've had lots of beautiful light languages today. Thank you, Beverly, for all of the things that you've brought to this to open on all the beautiful doors and gates. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Dave. Is there anything you'd like to say or share before we go?
Happy holidays. Enjoy every moment like it's your first and last.
Oh, that's a beautiful message. Thank you all. Niashata ilakosa siate nita. Every moment is a holy moment of which we are connected to all things, and we truly have just forgotten. But we really are. I love you, I love you, I love you, all of you. Thank you again. Have a beautiful, beautiful end of 2019 in this year of Trinity, the trinary, as we move into a 4 year. The next time we probably talk will be that idea of 4, this new number, this new vibration, the 1111, the 2020, clear vision. So thank you all for asking for clarity and love and opening your hearts, and all of you. Thank you. I love you. Have a beautiful night. Namaste. Nyashote Viyana Tiaku. Love you. Actually.